Today on an all-new Dr. Phill. She's the girl with many identities.
Pageant Sadie, teacher Sadie, politician Sadie.
Who can't say no.
People come to me for help.
Want to know what I think?
Yes, I do.
No, you just don't like to say no.
Did she get this from Mom?
I'm not like her.
Sadie's planner, Mom's planner.
Or is it all her?
What if you're doing this because you're arrogant? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. My first guest says she strives to be the best at everything. When I say strives, that's not a big enough word for her. And she does. And she is the person that everyone counts on. The problem is, she says she just cannot say no. And the pressure to please is completely stressing her out. Now, 22-year-old Sadie sent a video introducing me to the three sides of her. There's the beauty queen running for Miss Florida, the high school teacher, and the budding politician who hopes to someday be president. Check out her submission tape. In all the years, I have never had a guest sell herself quite so earnestly.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my story. I'm going to introduce you to a couple people who are going to add up to tell you why I'm a 22-year-old with the health problems of someone who's probably much older. But the first person I want to introduce you to is Pageant Sadie. Pageant Sadie ran for her first title in April 2015 and won, so we'll be competing in Miss Florida in 2016. Teacher Sadie is a 10th and 11th grade world history and American history teacher at a Title I school. This is the definition of stress. I cry almost every single day about the lives that I am opened up to. I know I'm making an impact, but I spend so much time with these kids and at school that I often put their needs before mine. But piggybacking off of that, not piggytailing, this is the third Sadie, and this is politician Sadie. And politician Sadie knows that she can make the greatest amount of good and difference from a more official platform, and that is on the school board in Manatee County. I am the youngest person who's running for office right now. That is also the definition of stress. Since I've run, I've been in the papers for being accused of being, a criminal, which is not true. My heart hurts just talking about it. I have heart palpitations all the time because of things. I start thinking about them and then I get anxiety over them. If I don't get help soon, I'm not going to live to make the impact that I'm hoping to make just through these three aspects and organizations. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, this is, oh my God, Dr. Phill. The several sides of Sadie have her so full of stress that she has been hospitalized not once, not twice, not three, but 6 times. Passed out in the middle of the street and warned by her doctor that she could end up with heart disease by age 40 if she keeps up at her current rate.
I've always been an overachiever. My day starts at 4 o'clock in the morning and typically ends around 11 o'clock in the evening. I live by my planner. It almost acts as my security blanket. When I was in high school, I was at the top of my academic class. I was in a sport every single season. I worked, and I also took college classes at night. I don't know how not to be driven, and sometimes that does have a physical toll on my body.
So we're putting together care packages for them, and then we're going to go out today and deliver them.
I can't say no when people ask me for help, even when my health is at risk. One night, I had such bad chest pains, I really thought that I was having a heart attack. We went to the emergency room, and it was just stress. I've been to the hospital many times. A cardiologist told me that I was at risk for coronary heart disease. The last time I called my mom when I was leaving the emergency room, and she started yelling at me. She told me that it's not fair to watch me kill myself. My biggest fear is if I don't slow down, I could be dead by the time that I'm 40.
Okay. So what's your goal today?
To hear what you have to say about it. Affirmation that what I'm doing would be wonderful. I have a feeling that's not what you're going to say. But really knowing how to function in society and be a achiever in society and be able to not be killing myself at the same time.
Okay, so why do you think you have such a hard time saying no? Because what you said in your letter to me and all was that you just can't say no to people.
I can't say no to people when they come to me for help.
Okay, so you can't say no because you think the world needs you.
Not me, but a vessel of help, and I'm willing to be that vessel.
So you say if you're not doing something about what needs to be done, who will, right?
Exactly. I don't trust. Well, I wouldn't say it's a trust issue. I just don't see enough people who are willing to go out there and do something, because a lot of people, we live in the culture of the big me. And that's very sad, because we put our needs before other people who are out suffering all the time. And I'm faced with that reality every single day when I'm in my classroom with my students that I love.
What do you do for fun?
Well,
what's your guilty pleasure? What do you do for fun?
For fun, just everyday life. Sometimes before I go to bed, I read a book. That's...
Were you the kid in school if the teacher said, I tell you what, if nobody has a question, let's have a little extra recess today? And you went... Were you that kid?
I always have questions.
I knew it. I knew it. I always had one of those girls in my class.
I'm sorry on behalf of everyone who ever took recess away for you. I'm so sorry.
Well, I don't think you mean that. When I saw Sadie's mother Jennifer's memorable submission video, I saw a real similarity. Let's take a look at this.
I'm Sadie's mom, and please forgive me, but I'm driving. I don't even have a minute to pull over and do this. Anyway, that might be why Sadie has a problem. She has a mom like me, but I will be careful. Hey, I just want to let you know I am so glad that you're taking on this challenge of chilling my daughter out. I've been trying to do it for about 20 years now. She can't say no. Anyway, please help her. She needs to learn how to say no, and maybe I can learn from her. Ciao.
So how do you think she's doing in life?
Oh, man, I think she's doing great in life. She's successful at everything she's done thus far.
Really?
Except for athletics.
That's not true.
Just saying.
That's not true.
What's not true?
I was good at sports.
Oh, yeah. So how's your love life?
That's funny. I've never been on more than 3 dates with one person.
You don't mean it.
I
bet you have a lot of first dates, though.
I don't want to be unfair to anybody, so usually I put everything up front, and I say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm involved in. I can't afford to be serious with anyone right now.
Of course not.
So usually, you know, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then by, you know, a week goes by and we still can't find a time to go grab coffee. It's like, okay, we cannot date.
Right, because you're too busy.
I'm too busy. I am, yes.
Yeah, because if you didn't do something, then it wouldn't get done, right? Well, you can't trust somebody else to do it.
I don't want to rely on somebody else to do something when I'm perfectly capable of doing it.
Right. How you doing in your social life, friend-wise? Got a lot of girls you hang out with, yuck it up, pizza party?
I have a great group of girls in my life, but our relationship exists mostly over texting and phone calls. Or I see them at church.
Okay, let's take a break. Sadie brought some books to the show, and I found them very important. I'll show you what I mean when we come back. Did you go to the hospital because you got an A- in high school?
Yes, I did.
Psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, go figure that. And later, you know what the bubble over my head is right now? Do you want to know?
Yes, yes, I do.
No, you just don't like to say no. What if you're having this approach because you're arrogant?
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phill. A beautiful mom
I've lost and gained back over 1,000 pounds.
scared to diet.
Nadine says her yo-yo dieting has left her with post-traumatic diet disorder.
Even foods that are healthy, I can't eat without freaking out. I feel like a failure.
If I could tell you why you're failing, would you want to know?
Plus, a wife terrified to lose weight.
You don't like the attention.
No.
Then I feel guilty.
That's Monday.
I've told Sadie that she needs to chill out a little bit. She's barely 22 years old. She just pushes and pushes and pushes. Her doctors have told her more than once, take a vacation. Do it now. She said, Mom, all of this stuff is fun. This is what I do for fun. I'd like Sadie to live up to her potential, but not at the cost of her health.
Did you go to the hospital because you got an A- in high school?
Yes, I did.
You got an A- in an AP course.
Yes, sir. Psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, go figure that. Okay, so you got an A- in an AP course, an advanced placement course in psychology. You got an A- and it stressed you out so much you had heart palpitations, became dizzy, wound up in the hospital.
Yes.
But yet, you tell me everything you're saying here you believe to be reasonable and rational.
Well, rational, maybe not so much. Reasonable, yes.
Okay, then why are you here?
Why am I here?
If you believe all this is just good, you're reasonable, rational, you're that vessel that's going to just fix the world, and you're out there and you've got it all going on, and you're just right there, Johnny on the spot, then why are you here? Did you just come here to tell us how wonderful you are?
No, okay. When I'm operating outside of myself, I think that the work we're doing is good.
You know what the bubble over my head is right now?
No, I don't.
Do you want to know?
Yes, I do.
No, you just don't like to say no. You just don't know how to say no. You don't really want to know the bubble over my head. Jennifer says she doesn't know why her daughter Sadie tries to do everything to the point of complete exhaustion when no one else in the family is like that. When I took a look at Sadie's planner, which she brought, and I don't know, I kind of thrive on activity, don't you?
I do. It's the only way I know how to function.
Yeah. And you're telling me that you think that's okay?
Physically, no, I know it's okay. Physically, my body tells me it's not always okay.
But head-wise, you think it's okay? Because you're a vessel.
Yeah, there's just, yeah.
Somebody's got to get that this is ridiculous.
I think it's kind of ridiculous. I've never said it wasn't. I think she does way too much. I like what she's doing, but maybe not quite so much all at once, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sadie's planner. Mom's planner.
Is that the pot calling the kettle black?
I'm just an old country boy. I don't know. I just kind of deal with basics. But you said, I don't know why she does it. Nobody else in her family does that. I don't know why she does it. I don't know where she gets this from. It just seems to me, no, I don't think it's reasonable. I don't know why you even suggest that I think it's reasonable. How dare you? I was getting the indignation in your voice. Like, how dare I suggest that?
She's busier than me, way busier than me.
Well, if this was a competition, then that'd be great. She would lose and
Right.
you would win, and that'd be great. But that's not what we're here for, is it?
Guess not.
Apparently. Do you think going to the hospital because you got an A- in a AP course and you stressed out to the point that you had to go to the hospital, do you think that's reasonable?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so would that tell you that there's something out of whack here?
Yes.
Would that tell you that somehow or another you're giving yourself some kind of message that, I don't know, you're taking yourself too seriously, that you're somehow or another, your gauge of what is a big deal versus what's a really big deal might be a little off?
Yes, possibly.
Yes, 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 and you just go, oh, oh. It's like getting that heroin high, but it's acceptance. And later, when you go home, you take your clothes off, you put paper towels down, you shuffle to the shower.
It's anxiety to know that I have to go home with all the germs of the outside world.
People are always kind of shocked when you step back and look at this from another point of view. Do you have the ability, you think, to look at things from a completely different point of view?
Oh, yes, I do. I have
Okay,
to.
what if you're having this approach because you're arrogant? Oh.
I disagree with that.
Oh, of course you do. But I'm saying just role play with me
Okay,
for a minute.
okay.
What if you're having this because you're arrogant? What if you're doing it because you think you're so important and have so much to offer and are so critical to the importance of the running of the world that you just can't say no, or things just won't get done? These people suffering in the world are going to be left twisting in the wind if you take a nap.
Well, if that were the case, then I'd be thriving off of affirmations. Absolutely.
You
And
would
I'd-
be caught in ascendancy. You would be someone whose self-worth was tied up in the need of approval from other people.
Right.
You would be someone that went from one fix to another, needing to see that acceptance in other people, needing to see that flash when you say yes. It isn't that you can't say no, it's that you have to say yes because you need that flash of approval. Oh, you are so sweet. We can always count on you. You are so wonderful. We always know you're the money girl. We can come to you every time. You can count on you every time. Yes, 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 yes. And you just go, oh, oh. It's like getting that heroin high, but it's acceptance. It's approval. It's like, hooray for you. And so you get where you go from one to the other to the other. And if somebody puts a minus behind that A, that teacher doesn't think I'm wonderful. To the point that you unravel and have to go to the hospital because they only think you're slightly wonderful. I got a D- in algebra in high school, and we had a party at my house. We had a party. They don't give out a lot of D-. I had a D-, which meant I was eligible. And we had a party. I'm not joking. I got a D-.
D's
I was
get
sweating
degrees.
it. Huh, what?
I said D's do get degrees just as well as A's do.
Yeah. Seemed to turn out okay for me. You probably wouldn't have come here if you'd known I got a D-. Now you're taking advice from an idiot.
No. I don't think that about you or anyone, again, because I don't see myself as better. The problem with the minus, and again, I can see in hindsight how ridiculous this was, and I'm sorry that I put my parents and family through that, but the problem with the minus is that I knew I could have studied harder. I knew that I could have done better.
What the hell difference it make?
Today,
Yeah.
it makes none. Who cares?
Exactly, not me. I don't care. I don't think any less of you. I don't think any less of you because you got an A minus.
Right.
I think less of you because you took my recess away, but I don't think of you because you got a minus. Now, the number one need in all people across the board, number one fear is rejection. Number one need is acceptance. We fear rejection. We need acceptance. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. We all want to have a sense. You can call it, people say, oh, I thought number one fear was failure. Well, it's not failure rejection, but you are at a point where you thrive on approval. It's not that you can't say no, it's that you're thriving on approval. If you just would give it to yourself, and let me tell you something, you will have a greater impact on the world if you will become more dimensional. You say you have these three faces. No, you are so one-dimensional. You are caught in ascendancy. You're like a machine. I gotta do more, I gotta do more, I gotta do more. You will have a better impact on the world if you become more dimensional. If you develop a sense of humor, if you learn to relax, if you learn to be more approachable, if you learn to be more relatable, if you learn to be less than perfect, people will relate to you more. You will inspire more people. You want to have an impact on the world? Then get over yourself. You sleep from midnight to 4, get up, start putting your makeup on so you can hit the deck running at 6, right?
I can sleep like a baby those 4 hours.
Oh, come on.
Closed captioning provided by...
I am totally blind, and sometimes I struggle to sleep at night and stay awake during the day. This is called non-24.
Learn more by calling 844-824-2424 or visit your24info.com.
We give you relief from your cold and flu. You give them a case of the giggles. Tylenol Cold helps relieve your worst cold and flu symptoms. You give them everything you've got. Tylenol.
I've always said, if I got to be alone, I'm not a bad person to do it with. Mm-hmm. If I'm alone, okay. I kind of crack myself up sometimes. But you have to fill every minute. You said that you are afraid of being bored. You're afraid that you're not going to have every minute filled. What if you had nothing to do and you were forced to actually think about yourself and life and the world? You might discover a whole new dimension of yourself. You got to give yourself permission to not seek approval every waking minute.
I just don't think I'm seeking approval. I know I'm not seeking approval because, yes, I'm involved in a lot, but I feel like that's what the world wants you to believe, that you need approval. And I know, because at the end of the day, whether I get a good job or a pat on the back, I know that I can sleep.
4 hours.
4 hours. And I can be proud of what I've done, and I can sleep like a baby those 4 hours.
Oh, come on. You sleep from midnight to 4, get up, start putting your makeup on so you can hit the deck running at 6, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't working, right?
No.
Who else do you know that's been in the hospital 6 times for stress?
I don't.
Then based on results, this is abnormal.
Yes.
Atypical.
Yes, it is atypical.
Okay, so try something else. You might find that the quickest way from A to Z is not at the most feverish pace. Mm-hmm. You got to lighten up, girl.
I agree. I do agree. That's why I'm here.
I mean, even your doctor told you you're headed for an early grave. You're going to wear yourself out. Your adrenal glands are going to explode. Your heart's going to explode. I mean, something's going to, you got to calm down. You're even freaking out over little stuff.
I do.
Am I telling her the truth?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, God.
Pretty much. I definitely don't see any arrogance in Sadie.
Of course you don't.
I don't.
I know.
I don't.
I know.
I know. I really don't. I think she's tired and too busy trying to be a servant, but arrogance?
So you think I got to do it because nobody else will?
You know, there's a lot of
Doesn't have a
blockers out
twinge
there.
of arrogance in it?
I guess I look at it from a different perspective.
Well, you know what? The rest of us are just going to kind of muddle along, and we're going to try to hold up our end as best we can.
Okay, thank
you. You girls just bear with us. We're going to try to keep up with you as best we can.
All right.
Well, when you frame it like that, it certainly...
Yeah, I'm not like her.
What?
I am not. No, I say that. I wish I were more like her, is what I meant to say. She's more high-level service, whereas I do have more fun and have more Jen time than she has Sadie time, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to put you guys in the front row. I want you to listen to everything that's going to be said in the rest of this show because it's all meant for your ears. I'm going to talk to this young lady right here. I put you there because I wanted you hearing everything I've been saying to these two. You know why, right? So I'm not through talking to you, so you need to listen because you don't want to be asked a question and not know the answer.
Absolutely not.
Because I'm going to grade your paper.
Oh, it's going to be an A.
I'm going to grade your paper. Imagine living your life terrified of germs to the point of washing your hands until they bleed, or filling every day with rituals to avoid shoes, toilets, garbage, or anything else that might contaminate you. You've even been down that road at one point, right? You didn't want anything touching your plate. You didn't, I mean, they're just, you know, we've been down there. We've tried that perfection. That is the world my next guest, Courtney, says she has fears and phobias that are tearing her family apart. So we're going to talk to Courtney right after the break.
I wash my hands a lot. I wash them so much that they start to bleed. I always take my shoes off here. So those are my feet. And this is me sliding my way to the bathroom. I went through a checking phase that lasted probably about 5 years. I'll go check the stove, and I do it the same way. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phill. A beautiful mom.
I've lost and gained back over 1,000 pounds.
Traumatized by dieting.
If I could tell you why you're failing, would you want to know?
That's Monday.
My next guest, 25-year-old Courtney, says her fear of germs causes her to spend her days avoiding shoes, toilets, garbage, and especially anything that looks or reminds her of vomit. Now, Courtney thinks she has OCD. She says she was diagnosed at 8. I've read everything about Courtney, and you might be surprised what I think. Here's what Courtney has to say about her fears.
Living with OCD has been agony for me. Things that trigger my OCD behaviors are spit, marks on the ground, garbage cans, people's shoes, hotel rooms, puke. I'm really, really scared of vomit. Having OCD is very expensive. I wash my hands a lot. I use a lot of soap. On a good day, I'll wash my hands 30 times. On a bad day, I'll wash my hands maybe 200. I wash them so much that they start to bleed. The pain is almost soothing for me. I went through a checking phase that lasted probably about 5 years. I'll go check the stove, and I do it the same way. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I was pregnant, I got really bad. I was so scared of everything when my son was first born. I would wash his baby bottles hundreds of times a day. My boyfriend, Patrick, tries to be as accommodating as he can. Pat and I were going to break up at one point because my OCD was too overwhelming. My greatest fear is that I'll lose my family. OCD has taken over my life.
Well, ironically, Courtney's chosen profession seems to contradict her fear of germs because she cleans houses. She cleans other people's homes, but says she is incapable of cleaning her own. That task is primarily left to her boyfriend, Patrick, who you will meet soon. But first, when Courtney comes home from work, the fears return and the rituals begin. Take a look.
When I get home, I have rituals. I always take my shoes off here, and I make sure that my socks don't touch them. And they're there just so that I don't have to step in that room at all. I lay my paper towel out, and I take my socks off. So I make my pile of clothes. This is actually another pile from yesterday. So those are my feet. And this is me sliding my way to the bathroom. I don't grab a towel because I'm dirty, so go in the shower. I will not grab a towel before my shower. I have to grab it afterwards. Put my paper towels in the garbage, and then I have a shower. Once I'm dressed, I grab some disinfecting wipes and I wipe down my keys. I wipe down my phone so that I'm ready for my son to come out of his room.
Hi, Courtney. You go and clean houses, and it's not an issue for you there, or certainly as much there, but you come home, then you begin the rituals.
Yeah. And then I just literally, like, it's anxiety to know that I have to go home and touch my own home with all the germs of the outside world.
When you go home, you take your shoes off, then you take your socks off, then you take your clothes off, you put paper towels down, you shuffle to the shower, you take 3 or 4 showers.
No, I shower, in the shower, I shower 3 times, so like I do it like in a way that I can remember that I did it.
But you don't do that anywhere else?
Oh yeah, it kind of follows me everywhere.
At customers' houses?
Yeah, I wash my hands 3 times.
What? No, do you strip naked at your...
Oh, no.
So that's just at home?
Yeah.
I made a list of your current fears and phobias so we would kind of know. Puke, spit, puddles, marks on the ground, shoes, bottoms of pants, toilets, garbage, bags, detergent pods, public restrooms, drooling, smelly, nasty dogs, hotels, wet floor signs, chicken, health professionals, drunk people, sick people, puking, things like that. Well, Courtney and her boyfriend, Pat, have a 2-year-old son, and they both wonder how Courtney's fears of germs and constant rituals will affect their child. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phill to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
My friend and I are in downtown Toronto, and we're supposed to go out. And I just had a meltdown because she wore her shoes in the hotel room. And I won't go anywhere now. We spent all this money for nothing. And she's really mad at me, and I feel really awkward, and I don't know what to do. Like, I really can't go anywhere, but I really want to try, and I can't.
Well, that was Courtney's emotional reaction when a getaway with a girlfriend ended abruptly. Why? Well, her friend made the mistake of stepping into Courtney's hotel room with her shoes on. Now, Courtney's boyfriend, Patrick, says because of her daily rituals, he's forced to take on most of the household responsibilities, including caring for their 2-year-old son.
The things that Courtney does are make sure light switches were turned off, the oven was off, her hands were just cracked, bleeding, because she washed them so many times. I think the pregnancy set off some hormones. She couldn't scoop the cat litter. She was afraid of the laundry room. When we first moved in together, she accused me of cheating. I think it happened because having OCD, it's kind of an anxiety disorder. While she was pregnant, I considered us not being together. I didn't think she was healthy. It was like she was going crazy. If I had known about Courtney's OCD, it would have halted my desire to commit to a relationship with her. I would like Courtney's OCD to stop controlling her life. Something needs to change.
Pat, it's good to meet you. You really care for her very deeply, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be with her and you want her to get better.
Our therapist told us that I was to help her see what normal was, because she doesn't know what normal is. But it doesn't seem to work.
Do you think you can get better?
I think that I could for sure. And I don't want to be that way. I don't want to. It's just, I have no choice, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You do have a choice.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to talk about here. You know, first off, I think we tend to live to our labels sometimes, which is why I hate labels. It's kind of what I refer to as iatrogenic labels. These are labels that can create more damage than that which it seeks to describe. You know, it's like if you write mentally challenged in a child's school record, then the teachers see that, they start treating that child differently. There's been a lot of research that shows that. The label itself creates more problem than that which it describes. And sometimes we live to those labels. And I don't know, I just know there are behaviors you have that you want to change. I have video of you coming home and entering the house without putting down paper towels.
Yeah, for sure. Some days I'm okay. Some days I clean a really dirty house.
You don't react to something until you label whether it's good or bad. And what that means is if you change the labeling, you change your internal dialogue about how you're labeling what happens in the world, you can change your reactions. You could even deal with a vomiting chicken if you changed what you said about it. I don't want a vomiting chicken around either, but you could change, if you change what you say about it, you can change the way you react to it, right? Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. What's really happening with Courtney? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that when we come back. The holidays should be a time of hope and happiness, but for families, children, and the elderly struggling with hunger, it continues to be a time of need. Feeding America is the nation's leading domestic hunger relief organization, feeding 37 million Americans. Every dollar you donate helps provide 9 meals to men, women, and children facing hunger in our country. Visit drphill.com to find out how you can help this holiday season. Closed captioning provided by
Abdominal pain, bloating? You may have IBS. Ask your doctor if new non-prescription IB Guard is right for you. IB Guard calms the angry gut. Available at CVS and Walgreens.
Ready to get real? Go to drphill.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phill community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phill Show newsletter. Log on to drphill.com today. I'm back with Courtney and Patrick, and we're talking today about how we represent the world to ourselves. I've got someone in the audience that I want to introduce. This is Dr. Frank Lawless. You've all met him before. I have him here an awful lot. Dr. Lawless is the chairman of the Dr. Phill Show Advisory Board. He's the co-founder of the Lawless PvP&P Center. He's one of the leading experts in the world on PTSD and OCD. And so I asked him to come here, and I think there are some strong neurological components to how we represent things to ourselves. Until something happens at a neurological level to break her out, she's not going to be able to overcome this, is she?
No, you have these neurological patterns that become interlinked. So our approach would be like Courtney, would be to teach the brain to separate those.
Yeah, and this is what I want everybody to understand. We have triggers, and with you, your triggers are, you have a certain standard that you live to, and I've teased you about it, but you hold yourself to a very high standard and give yourself no respite whatsoever. And there are things that trigger stress reactions in you. And these are physiological reactions as well as psychological reactions, and they're bad for you. And here, she has such well-learned triggers. This may have started when you were 4. It may have started when you were 8 or 9, when there were things going on in your life that were not okay. And sometimes we try to organize the external world because we think that that will make us feel organized in our internal world. But the problem is that conditions the brain to a pattern, right?
Yes.
But you can break it where you wash it and you go, wow, they feel clean. Let's go do something. You don't need the other 299 times. And then what do you do with all that extra time?
Fun activities.
Well, you could go help her fix something. You two could be pen pals. You could fix everything right up. All right. Now, before we go, with Turkey Day just behind us and your waistband expanding in front of you, but you don't have to avoid those holiday parties out of fear that you can't turn down that pint of eggnog. You just got to have some reason about this. During the holiday season, you can gain anywhere from 10 to 12 pounds. Even conservative estimates are 3 to 5 pounds. Don't come out of the holiday season at the other end bigger than you went in. You don't want to do that. You don't have to. All it takes is a little commitment and a surefire, no-kidding plan. And I'm proud to say I'm going to help you this holiday season. Take back your health and get you through. Go into it with some defiance. Say, no way I'm getting bigger this holiday season. I do have a plan. It's called the 2020 Diet. Turn your weight loss vision into reality. Okay? There are 20 key foods that can help you. Among these foods are some that research is telling us, emerging research is telling us, creates what's called thermogenesis. They burn hotter, they burn faster in your body. There are certain foods that are time release, which means they last longer, so you're not hungry real quick. And the best part of the 2020 diet is it's real easy to follow because I've broken it down into 3 phases and I put the dots so close that there is no excuse for failure. And most importantly, if you eat these 20 foods for 20 days, you're not going to be hungry. That's what you hate about diets, right, is you're hungry. You don't have to be hungry. So that's the plan. It's the 2020 diet. And because we're all on the go, there's also a 2020 app that you can download for free on iTunes or Google Play. And in the spirit of the holidays, everybody here is going home with a copy, okay? Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phill, a beautiful mom
I've lost and gained back over 1,000 pounds.
scared to diet.
Nadine says her yo-yo dieting has left her with post-traumatic diet disorder.
Even foods that are healthy, I can't eat without freaking out. I feel like a failure.
If I could tell you why you're failing, would you want to know?
Plus, a wife terrified to lose weight.
You don't like the attention.
No. Then I feel guilty.
Let's do it.
Not a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you. Well, I want you to meet Nadine. She is beautiful, gregarious, a mother, a very interesting woman who you will find very relatable. Now meet Janaea. She too is very interesting and also a mother. What you don't know and what they don't know is that they have so much in common, it's uncanny. What you also don't know is that you too share a commonality with these women that you have no idea about. So ask yourself, what could it be? What could you have in common with these two ladies? And in fact, what do you have in common with 40% of the people who get married, 90% of the people who start businesses, 85% of the people who go to rehab for drug addiction, 80% of the people who set goals for change, and all of the people who collectively spent $61 billion last year on a dream? The answer is they all set a goal for which they were programmed to fail before they ever started. I'm saying you have something in common with 40% of the people who marry. Why? Because 40% of the people who marry fail. 90% of the people who start businesses are going to fail before they start. 85% that go to rehab, they're going back because they're going to fail. 80% of those that set goals, you got it, fail. People that set $61 billion, what'd they spend it on? Wouldn't you want to know if you and your children and your family were doomed to fail in the pursuit of your goals and your dreams before you ever started? You had all the big plans, but before you started, you had sabotaged yourself. Think about it. What if before you ever took your first step, your fate was sealed? You may wonder, how could that be? Why would that happen? By the end of this hour today, you're going to know the answer to that question, so stick around. But first, let's talk to Nadine, the first lady I showed you. Behind her perky facade is a 36-year-old woman who says she was traumatized by her lifelong fight to be thin. Over the years, she says she's gained and lost over 1,000 pounds. Nadine says her yo-yo dieting has left her with post-traumatic diet disorder. That's her term, not mine, but she believes it. Take a look.
My name is Nadine. I'm 36. I'm 5'6", and I weigh 200 pounds. My weight loss goal is to lose 70 pounds. Over the years, I've been on a non-stop roller coaster of weight loss and weight gain. I've lost and gained back over 1,000 pounds. Losing weight stresses me out. I'm terrified to gain more weight. I'm terrified to not lose the weight. And then it frustrates me so bad that I want to eat. I'm completely traumatized by all the diets I've done and failed in the past. I've tried the paleo diet, the Atkins diet, low fat, South Beach, juicing, fasting, diet pills. I've even tried hypnosis and casting a spell. Some of them work for a time, but I always gain it back. Because of all the years of yo-yo dieting, it's done a lot of damage to my body. It's caused my arms to be really flabby with loose skin and stretch marks. My belly's flabby, my legs, my hips, everything is just saggy and full of stretch marks and loose skin, and I just don't like it. I feel like I'm failing as a wife, failing myself, because I can't solve this puzzle. My biggest fear is I'm gonna pass my craziness on to my daughter. She's been bullied about her weight as well. As a mom, it's so hard for me to watch her have to go through that. I absolutely feel helpless at this point. I'm totally lost. I'm totally lost.
Okay, good to meet you. Were you listening to what I was saying while you were backstage?
Yeah.
So what do you think about what I said?
I do feel that from my years of experience on diets that they're not sustainable.
The fact is, the reason you're failing doesn't have anything to do with diet. You set a goal and you failed. Why do you think you failed?
I think because I self-sabotage, or there's something in me that can't stick with it.
So you set yourself up to fail every single time. Aren't y'all puzzled by why you do this stuff? $61 billion. How many of you have set a goal? Forget about weight, just in general. How many of you have set a goal you didn't obtain? Raise your hand. Look around the room. Everybody does it. Why do you think people do the same thing over and over when they continue to fail?
Because it's all I know. I've been doing it for so many years, I guess that's all I know what to do.
Wow.
I don't want to give up. I don't want to lose the battle. I want to keep fighting.
You lose 40 to 70 pounds every year.
Just about, yeah.
Long about the 5th or 6th or 7th year, wouldn't you think you'd say, I'm going to do something different?
I always feel like I am doing something different. Like every time I fail, or like I'm on a diet, I do really well. And then for whatever reason, I start eating again, and then it just creates the pattern of the opposite effect. And then I get back on another diet, and I think that that's the solution, is to get on another diet. And then I fail again. I don't know. But I don't want, because I feel like if I'm not on a diet, I'm out of control. Like if I'm out of control, I'm gaining weight, and I feel that if I go back on another diet, at least I'm getting back into control.
Have you ever really believed? Now, here's the deal. This is what's going to make today different.
Okay.
You ready to be different?
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
You mean just from this conversation or in general?
No, just with the...
You mean in general?
In general, with food.
If I could tell you why you're failing, would you want to know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When I tell you why, everybody else is going to figure out some of their own why.
Okay.
So we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and talk about the why in her life, and it's going to give you some information about the why in your life. There is a dark secret that just might be at the root of Nadine's food addiction. We're going to talk about that, but also how it translates into the here and now when we come back. You had a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't want to fail again. If you can't help me, nobody can. So I have faith in you.
And later, you don't like the attention.
No. Then I feel guilty. Do you think you're all that? You know, like if you lost the weight, you're going to be some hottie or something?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. She rescued a frostbitten calf.
Now Hero has prosthetic legs.
But this animal activist
Kitty is a fraud.
is under attack.
I was doing just fine adopting animals till you guys came along. You're lying.
Did you shoot 2 dogs in the head?
I did not shoot him.
You had your husband shoot them and bury them in the backyard like trash.
You were going to shoot your cow in the head because it was stuck in the rain. Cows are waterproof.
That's tomorrow.
I think my issues with food are a direct result of the abuse I suffered as a child. My father was physically abusive and would hit me sometimes. There was always fighting and chaos in my house. My parents argued all the time. From the time I was 3 years old until I was 12, I was molested by a relative. Because of this, I thought I was a target because I was fat. Because of all the chaos and abuse I was going through at the time, I started to use food as a comfort to soothe me.
Nadine says she'd like to lose 70 pounds, but she just can't start another diet because she's terrified she will fail. She says she has post-traumatic diet disorder. And I know what you mean, because you get tired of failure experiences, right? Okay, when you say you get tired of failure experiences, it starts to diminish the way you feel about yourself, true?
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like a failure all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'm getting ready to put you on the last diet you're ever going to be on. Do you believe me when I tell you that?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because you're a doctor.
You've met a lot of doctors before.
Yeah.
Why do you believe me now?
Because you're my last hope, I feel. to get this right, to figure it out. I feel like if you can't help me, nobody can. So I have faith in you.
Well, you know, I've written a book called The 20/20 Diet, and it's turn your weight loss vision into reality, because you have a vision.
Absolutely.
But you don't know how to turn it into reality. And when I wrote this book, this is my second time I've written a weight book. I waited 10 years to write this one. I waited 10 years because I was waiting for there to be something new to say. And we've learned. There's emerging science, and we've learned. And there are things that I want to tell you. But included in this book is everything I said in the last book in a real condensed form. And I want to talk about this self-sabotage. Every one of us, you, everybody here, I said you start out and you're doomed before you start, because everybody has a personal truth. That personal truth is what you believe about yourself when nobody else is looking and nobody else is listening. Because let me tell you, you got on a social mask right now, and it's a good one. And I wrote down some of the key things you said. You said every bite of food you take, you feel depression, guilt, anxiety, and really just kind of a trauma. Yeah. You just feel like everything you put in your mouth is like a bad thing to do. Mm-hmm. You said it destroys your health, it destroys your life. And you said you feel like a failure.
Absolutely, because it's gotten to the point, like I say post-traumatic dieting disorder, because it's gotten to the point where I can't eat a single thing without freaking out, like feeling bad, feeling guilty, like you said, or feeling anxiety, because depending what diet I've been on in the past, every single food is wrong. Even foods that, you know, you think are healthy, I now have guilt about them because depending on what diet I was on, they were not allowed.
Yeah, and it's not about that. There's nothing wrong with food. You got to have food. The reason we have hunger is because we need it to sustain life. Hunger is a good thing. You're here to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you heard that I had written a new diet book, you had a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I can't even think about going on another diet without wanting to panic. But then the thought of gaining more weight makes me panic too. So I'm like, I'm stuck between this place of like, I don't want to gain any more weight. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to diet because I don't want to fail again. I don't want to be set up to fail again.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this personal truth I mentioned. Okay. I said it's what you believe about yourself when nobody else is looking, nobody else is listening.
Okay.
It's what you say to you about you when you don't have this social mask on. And that's a pretty ugly personal truth, isn't it? You said, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'm ugly, and I'm fat. You were violated as a child.
I had no one I could tell or turn to. Nobody showed me love or affection. No one said, I love you. Like, I had no one.
Now, what happened to you between the ages of 3 and 12?
I was severely molested by a family member.
Right. And this went on for 9 years. But you were violated as a child.
Yes.
And you had no power. You couldn't stop it. You didn't have the ability to stop it.
No.
And in addition to being molested by this family member, throughout your childhood, you were also being beaten and abused. Mm-hmm. That writes on the slate of who you are.
Absolutely. And I had no one. Like, I had no one I could tell or turn to, or, like, nobody who showed me love or affection. Like, nothing. Like, not even hugs. No one said, I love you. Like, I had no one. that I could talk to.
But then when you escaped the house
Yeah.
and you got out into the world, at least there were kids at school that said cruel things. How old were you the first time you heard somebody calling you fat?
I was 10 because I can remember it exactly. I can remember every person who's ever called me fat in my life. It's like burned into my brain.
See, the problem is, and this shouldn't be the case, but it is the case, body image and self-image, they vary together. They shouldn't, but they do. Here you are objectified and abused by people that you should be able to trust. You're beaten, you're abused, you're ridiculed at school. And so your body image goes down, your self-image is dragged down with it, and so your personal truth is terribly damaged. Now, let me tell you why I'm spending time talking about that. The importance of the personal truth is that we generate the results in life that we truly believe we deserve.
Yeah, I don't deserve it or something. Some part of me obviously doesn't believe in myself or believe that I can be that person.
And as soon as you hit a bump in the road, you say, well, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to quit. I can't do it. And so you comfort yourself with food, right? But that comes with a price. It comes with a guilt.
Yeah. It's a big price. Yeah, it's a huge price.
And you know what diets do is they give you a bunch of foods to eat. But if they don't deal with all of this, what the hell difference it make what list of foods somebody hands you? What difference it make? Because this is going to get in the way every time. This is going to get in the way of everybody out here. Let me tell you, you're not overweight by mistake.
No.
It's when you use food for other than nutritional purposes. Have you ever seen a fat coyote?
No.
Have you ever seen a fat lion?
No.
They don't eat emotionally.
No.
You don't see a lion that says, well, she has a prettier coat than I do, so I'm going to eat an extra deer. They don't do that. They eat to live.
Yeah.
They don't live, they don't eat emotionally.
Yeah.
They eat to live. And you live to eat.
I live to eat, yeah, absolutely.
It's the flip side, because you've never decided that you deserve this.
But I feel like I've been like this for so long. Like, that's all I know. And I love food. Like, I love the taste of food. I love it when I'm happy.
You ever watch the Dr. Phil show much?
Yeah.
You ever listen? There's a line in the opening of the show. It says, today is going to be a changing day in your life.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a break. Will Nadine ever be able to eat without feeling anxiety and guilt? I say, hell yes. We're going to talk about how, why, and what right after the break. You have a daughter.
Yeah.
And she's now struggling.
Yeah. And that kills me more than anything. The very thought of eating causes me to have a panic attack and anxiety. I think every piece of food is bad. My trigger foods are any kind of junk food. Ice cream, cheeseburgers, chips, pop, candy, anything like that. I can't even eat a banana anymore without worrying about how much sugar is in it. If I eat anything that's not specific to my diet, that's a trigger for me, and it's game over. It's absolutely exhausting to worry about every single little piece of food I put in my mouth.
I've told Nadine that the 2020 Diet, which is a book I've just written, is going to be the last diet that she's ever going to be on. And there's a reason why, because it's not just a diet. This is a book that I have written that is based on a survey that we did and asked over 1,000 people that only were included in the survey if they had failed on every diet that you could possibly imagine. because I understood something. I understood if I'm going to make a difference with this book, I got to figure out why diets fail. Why people go on diets and then they fail. We know they fail, but why do they fail? And let me tell you, that survey and the candor that people told us with this research absolutely unlocked the answers. They fail because of hunger, right? You get tired of being hungry. They get cravings, right?
Yeah.
You want what they tell you you can't have. They get these feelings of restriction. It's impractical. It's expensive. Boredom. Then temptations when they get around things and they smell it and they see it. And then inconsistent results and plateaus. You do all this work, then you get on the scale and you've gained 3 pounds. And you go, what the hell?
I'll eat then.
Yeah, you say, well, it's not working, so I might as well eat.
Yeah.
These are the top things that people said, and I knew that I had to deal with those things. But very importantly, there are things you have to deal with emotionally. It's the 7 keys that you have to deal with. And key 1 is right thinking. If you don't get your thinking right, if you don't stop telling yourself you don't deserve this, you'll never get there. You've got to heal the feelings. If you don't do that, if you continue to eat emotionally, you won't get there. You got to have a no-fail environment. Let me tell you, if you get up at 11 o'clock at night and walk into the kitchen and there's a bag of Oreos, those Oreos are toast. They're history. They're gone. Now, what's the chance that you'll get dressed, get in the car, and drive down to the 7-Eleven and get some Oreos? You might, but it's a lot less likely than if they're sitting there on the counter.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to just get them out of the house. You've got to put the right foods in the house, things that you can eat, because you should never be hungry on a diet. You should never be. If you are on a diet and you are hungry, you are on the wrong diet.
Right.
Key 4, you've got to have mastery over food and impulse eating. If you can eat something like a wood chipper, just like that, that's a low response cost food. Yeah. Those foods are not going to be good for you.
Right.
Okay, so you don't want that.
Yeah.
You are going to have to break a sweat.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand.
You're going to need to surround yourself with people that want you to succeed instead of are threatened by your success. So you've got to do some things in your life to get this right. And I'm going to help you with every one of those steps. I'm going to give you 20 foods for 20 days. You can stand on your head for 20 days, couldn't you? Yeah. You can do 20 foods for 20 days.
Yeah.
And some of these foods are thermogenic. They're going to burn faster for you. Some of them are time release. They last a long time for you. There are going to be 3 phases, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to move through them real straight, and you're going to be working on these 7 keys the entire time you do. I just want to remind you something you said. Okay. I feel depressed, guilty, and anxious with every bite I take. I feel like a failure. I think my body is ugly. I have no self-esteem. I have no willpower. And more importantly, you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And she's now struggling.
Yeah. And I feel like it's my fault. And that kills me more than anything.
People that have been through what you've been through, there is very specialized help available for this. And I want you to let me get you that very specialized help to make sure those wounds are healed, and let's turn this whole thing around. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, now I'm going to talk to the other lady I introduced in the beginning of this. In the meantime, I'm going to have you sit right there.
Okay.
I want you to listen to every word I'm going to say to her.
Okay.
Because you are going to be stunned at how much you see yourself in her. And so we come back, I'm going to talk to a wife who says she's terrified of losing weight because looking better may attract unwanted attention from men. Is she using her weight issues as her protection? We're going to find out after the break, and I want every one of you to be asking yourself, how do you sabotage yourself before you embark in the pursuit of your goals? We'll be right back.
I am terrified of losing weight. I've seen marriages that get destroyed because one person loses the weight. I don't want guys looking at me, hitting on me.
My next guest, Janaea, is a 41-year-old wife and mother of 2 children. She's 5'7" and 260 pounds and says she'd like to lose 80 pounds. But does she really? She says she is actually petrified to shed the pounds she says she wants to lose. Take a look.
My name is Janaea. I'm 41 years old, 5'7", 260 pounds, and I would love to lose at least 80 pounds. I'm completely addicted to soda. I need to know where it's at, when I'm gonna get it, and if I don't have it in the house, I'll make excuses to run to the store. I used to drink a full liter in a day. My biggest weakness is junk food. If it has carbs, it's in my mouth. I actually have a secret place where I store all my junk food. So the family found my stash, so now it's my decoy stash, and I found another location. I do not like my chin. I have a double chin. My arms, there's no definition. They're flabby, they're wiggly. My belly area, I feel like there's a second belly hanging out. I also don't like my butt. I call it the secretary spread. I am terrified of losing weight. I've seen marriages that get destroyed because one person loses the weight. I don't want guys to find me attractive at all. I don't want anybody looking at me, hitting on me, talking to me. I don't want any attention whatsoever. Nobody's going to hit on the fat girl. It's like the fat barrier. It's like a protection. I have a handsome, hottie husband that works out. He's a cutie. When they see us together, they see this cute, handsome, athletic person, and then they see this short, frumpy, overweight girl that's with him, and they're wondering, why is he with her? But losing weight scares me, so I don't even try.
Well, today we're talking about the 2020 diet, and this is, in my opinion, if I do say so myself, a highly different approach to getting the weight off and keeping it off. And the interesting thing about this is it's designed to lose weight fast, which is not unhealthy if you do it in the right way, but in keeping it off, because there's no point in losing it if you're going to gain it back. And a high percentage of people that lose weight within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, gain back anywhere between 95 and 110% of the weight that they lose. And if you go to programs where you sign up and order the food and eat the food, it winds up costing around $400 a pound by the time you add up what you lose, because you don't do what you have to do to get there. Now, Janaea says she wants to lose weight, but then in the same breath says, not so much. So which is it? You want to lose weight or you don't want to lose weight?
I do want to lose the weight, but I don't. It's like a scared thing. I don't know.
Sounds like a plan for success to me. I don't see what could go wrong here.
No.
Yeah, I want to lose it, but I don't know. Do you ever think you're going to lose weight with that mindset?
No.
This is called approach avoidance. It's like, here's the goal, and you're headed towards it, and the closer you get, the steeper it gets, and you start peeling off, right? Because the closer you get to actually losing weight, the more anxious you become.
Mm-hmm. I do.
It's called approach avoidance conflict.
Right. I know I should be losing the weight, and I should be exercising. I should be eating right. I should be doing these things.
There are things that make you uncomfortable about being more attractive.
Yes.
You don't like the attention.
No. Then I feel guilty, like, why do you think that? Do you think you're all that? That, you know, like, if you lost the weight, you're going to be some hottie or something? And then I feel guilty, like, who do you think you are that you would think that? So it's like this big internal battle between, you know, I don't know, good guy, bad guy,
so
I
you're
don't know,
kicking your ass coming and going.
Yeah, I am.
People use body fat like a snowsuit. And then when they start zipping it off, people go, oh, wow, look what's under there. They go, oh, no, oh, oh, oh.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phill to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
323-461-7445.
7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445. 7445
wrote down some of your internal dialogue. You said, I don't want guys to find me attractive at all. I don't want them to look at me or come hit on me. My fat is my barrier. Nobody is going to want the fat girl.
That's right.
Starving stops temptation from ever becoming an issue. More people find you attractive when you lose weight. I want people to like me for my personality. When I do look in the mirror, I'm very hateful to myself. I don't like my belly. I don't like my arms. I don't like my butt. I have these internal battles where I tell myself to stop eating. I get mad at myself for not stopping eating, so then I eat more. Travis, help me out here. What's the deal?
She knows what the deal is. She just doesn't want to say it. She needs to deal with trauma from the past to fix this.
Yeah. You know, and look, and listen, there are things you don't want to talk about, and that's okay. There's trauma. Let's just leave it at that. That's specific enough for me. But there are people that have had trauma, and they use body fat like a snowsuit. They put it on and zip it up, and they go through life that way because they feel safe. And then when they start zipping it off and taking it off, people go, oh, wow, look what's under there. They go, oh, no. They zip it right back up.
Yeah, very good analogy. I love it.
Didn't I start the show by saying these two ladies have a tremendous amount in common? They don't know it. And we all have a lot in common because we all have our own personal truth that sabotages the pursuit of our goals. If we don't believe we deserve AAA 5-star life, then we don't get AAA 5-star life. If you don't decide to star in your own life, who the hell is? What would be wrong with healing yourself enough to decide, you know what, I'm going to claim the right. I'm going to claim the right. I'm going to take my power back, heal my personal truth, and jump on the 2020 train. Have you had a better offer?
No.
So why don't you let me help you fix this?
I would like that very much.
And isn't it time? Don't your kids deserve all of their mom?
Yes.
Don't they deserve the energy, the leadership, the role model?
Yes.
And, I mean, come on, look at these kids. Wow, I mean, they deserve it all, right?
They do.
Don't start this if you aren't prepared to do it all, because you will lose the weight.
No, I want to do it. I want to start it.
So you're going to let me help you with the other?
Yes.
I'm going to get you the professional help to deal with the other. It's very specialized care for both of you. It's not just general, whoever's on the corner. It's very specialized care.
Okay.
And we'll do that.
All right.
Okay, we're going to really do it. And Travis, you're behind this, right?
Oh, yeah.
100%. You know, one of the most common questions people ask me is how to lose weight and keep it off. So that's why I wrote the 2020 Diet, to help people keep on track and then find a return to health. And we're going to talk to some other people about all of that right after the break. Did you get married when you were broke, but now you're successful? Or are you already financially secure and getting ready to tie the knot with someone who is not? Are you worried about what will happen to your money if your marriage fails? If you've asked your partner to sign a prenuptial or postnuptial agreement and you didn't get the reaction you hoped for, or you want to ask but you're afraid to, email me at drphill.com. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphill.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
You know, I wrote my latest book, The 2020 Diet, to help people get on track and find a return to health. And my next guests are some of those people. Here's why they say they need my help.
I would like to lose weight everywhere.
My stomach.
My midsection.
It's gangly with a belly.
Love handles right here.
I want to change all of it.
I've tried so many diets.
A lemonade detox, veggie detoxes, fruit detoxes, a Jell-O diet where I would only eat Jell-O. That didn't work. It was very short-lived.
My stomach,
my arms,
back fat, my legs.
This fat right here.
I'm Italian. We eat a lot of pizza, lasagna, pasta, pretty much anything high carb.
Chips or salsa or tacos or burritos. It's fast and easy. I gained 40 pounds working at a coffee shop. A free drink at the beginning of the shift and a free drink after.
When I go to dinner, if I can't decide between the entrees, I'll order the ones I can't decide between. And that can't be good.
I'm just too busy to eat healthy.
Being overweight makes everything harder.
These love handles,
My legs,
dangly
arms,
inner thighs.
my midsection.
I've never had a boyfriend.
I want to get married one day. Like to live a long, healthy life.
I'm tired of being
This
big.
weight has to come off.
If not now, when? I choose now.
Well, all the thousands of letters we've gotten, we've chosen these people because we're going to track them and see what happens. Now, Natalia,
yes.
You're 25, and you say you're 5'2", 220 pounds. You want to lose 60 pounds, and you say you cannot get the scales to budge.
Nope.
Okay, and you've had trouble since pregnancy, right?
Yep, since having my two sons. They're 2 and 11 months.
Okay, so you're stuck after pregnancy.
Yep.
All right, so that, and sometimes that's hard to get that baby weight off. So that's your obstacle. We're going to work on that. All right, so we know your goals. We'll work on that. Kevin, what are you after?
Well, right now I just like to have a lighter body, just carrying around a little extra pouch right here. I've always been, made fun of for it, things like that. And also, the men in my family don't have long histories of living long lives, so I'd really just like to get healthy now while I'm still young so I can live to see my 80s, my 90s. And
yeah, a big part of this is about returning to health. I mean, it truly is, because and it's really interesting as you get your body chemistries back in position, then you do start processing so much more efficiently. Every eye. Okay, so you want to lose how much?
30 pounds.
30 pounds.
Yeah.
Has it been hard?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, what's your guilty pleasure?
Just food in general. Like I say, that's my addiction. I can't help it.
Yeah. What's the heaviest you've ever been? Is this it or is it more?
180. So
yeah.
10 pounds heavier.
Okay. So are you athletic at all?
I love working out. I work out every day.
Okay.
Every day. And no weight loss.
Have you done any burst training at all?
No.
Okay, because that's one of the things we talk about in here. There's great efficiency to doing burst training where you can exercise, but doing 30-second burst training in an anaerobic way makes a huge, huge difference, and we're going to be talking about that. So, Tamara?
Yes.
How much are you looking to lose?
85 pounds.
85 pounds. All right. Is this the most you've ever weighed?
Yes.
Okay. Are you shocked to weigh this much?
I'm ashamed of it, yes.
I mean, has it crept up, or is it kind of jumped on you like overnight?
It's been gradual ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah. So this isn't something that's just totally new to you?
No.
Okay. What have you tried?
A little bit of everything. My mom would always be on the fad diet and want me to do it with her. And so I've tried a little bit of everything, but nothing has really stuck.
All right. Now, you've heard me talking about everything up here. You know this is a serious commitment, right?
Yes.
All right. Monica, are you and Darren together?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are going to do this together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think you're equally committed, or is one of you dragging the other?
I think we're equally committed.
Yeah.
23 years, we've done everything together.
If one of you gets weak, is the other one likely to get weak with him, or say, no, come on?
I think we get weak together.
Yeah, we kind of get, The other one's like, hey, okay, let's go.
Let's go get a green burrito and vanilla Pepsi.
See, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So is he going to get in trouble if he says, hey, you don't want to do that?
No, absolutely not. We need to do that.
Okay, I just wanted to get that on tape. I've found coaching your wife's like trying to baptize a cat. you just can't get him in the bucket. It just doesn't work. Well, like you're denying that.
I knew you were going to go there.
What? Yeah, yuck, you deny that.
Yeah.
You take coaching really well, don't you?
Well, not from you, I don't.
Yeah, I play tennis all the time. They said, "Do you ever played with your wife?" I said, "I played with her once."
That's
I
right,
said,
only
"We're
one.
playing doubles." I said, "Yours?" She said, "Don't tell me what to do."
Oh, I want to get that. I want to get that on tape, on a loop.
Today is day one of the rest of all my guests' new lives. They will all be starting phase one of my 2020 plan. I'm going to keep my eye on all of you guys. We're going to have you reporting in the weeks to come. If you are ready for a return to health and want your own copy of 2020 Diet, it's available anywhere books are sold. But you don't need to buy one if you're here today, because everybody in the audience is going home with a copy. I know we live in an environment where we're always on the go, so you can use the 2020 app. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. You're going. Bye-bye.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phill, they're married.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do, Dr. Phill.
But are they choosing other people
My wife brought a guy home. My daughter heard them going at it in the bedroom.
over their own kids?
Did you have a date that night at the house?
Yeah, but I didn't sleep with anybody.
He left at 3 in the morning.
Were you there?
She told me so many lies about my own father.
I did not tell your dad.
You did too. Stop lying.
If you've blatantly lied to me, we're done. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Well, George says his wife Rachel was smart, beautiful, and fun. He wanted nothing more than to make her happy when he popped the question and put a ring on her finger. But now, 19 years and 6 children later, George says he is married to the wife from hell.
Maybe I was just too stupid to run away from her. With every child that was born, she had another nail in my back. At this point, I feel like she has her nails on my back and her foot on my throat. I don't know why she didn't consider herself married. We weren't separated. I told him she wasn't single. The only thing she really is crazy. If I could have crawled through the phone, I would have choked the life out of her.
Well, I have been quoted as saying you divorce a very different woman than you marry. And that certainly seems to be George's opinion, because it does not sound like years of wedded bliss. George says his wife has turned into a jealous, controlling cheater who is determined to destroy him.
My wife, Rachel, is a wife from hell. We've been together 19 years. Rachel and I separated 3 months ago. We have 6 kids together. Rachel's temper revealed itself shortly after we started dating. Rachel gets very angry if I don't lavish her with attention. She'll call me at least 30, 40 times a day. Text me probably the same.
You have to answer your phone. I guess you really don't want anything to do with me. You never really did.
We fight a lot. We argue over money and our kids. She was violent a handful of occasions where she clawed me, pushed me, hit me. My wife is a nymphomaniac. I know that she's had at least 8 affairs. I found an account she had set up on a dating site. Rachel was meeting men in chat rooms, sending nude pictures. One of them read, "I can't wait to get my hands all over you." When Rachel's boyfriend calls, she jumps. I have told Rachel that she is putting her kids in jeopardy for trying to pursue this guy. Rachel, to this day, denies anything. She puts the kids second to her love life. She left my 12-year-old in charge of an 8 and 2 7-year-olds, and she had given them melatonin so they could fall asleep, and then she could sneak off for the night. She is a very evil person. The cheating, the lying, the backstabbing. With a wife like her, who needs an enemy?
Yeah, but Rachel says, wait just a minute, you also divorced a very different man than you married. And she says George is just using her as a scapegoat, and he's really the problem.
My current relationship with George is every time we see each other, it ends up in a fight. George is lazy. He never lifted a finger around the house. And the rest of the time, he was gone working. George was only there for 2 out of the 6 births of our children. Today, it still affects me. He missed the important part of our life together, and he can't get that back. I resent George not being around. I've had one affair. George thinks I've had a handful. Recently, I noticed George emotionally distant from me. He was cold and abrasive, just like, get away from me. I don't want you touching me. I don't want you hugging me. I found out George has a girlfriend. It hurts. Things weren't great between us, but I didn't even imagine that this was going on. I want a divorce. There is no coming back for me from this.
Okay, so why are we here?
I need help with my wife, Dr. Phill. I want everybody to know what kind of wife I have.
Why?
You know what? Ultimately, I want my kids. I don't think that she's a fit mother for them.
So is this a custody fight?
Yeah, okay, it does sound like a custody battle. It does, now that you face it, or put it that way. But,
okay, character assassination.
Yes.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, it does.
So you're here to assassinate her character.
Yeah, so that
so you can get into court and get your kids away from her.
Yeah, ultimately, yes.
Okay, and so
It is real easy, because all you have to do is just see what she's doing. The fact that she's leaving my 12-year-old in charge of the kids overnight.
All right, so you believe she's an unfit mother?
She is, yep. And I don't care who she sleeps with, as long as she doesn't do it in front of my children.
Right.
Which she has.
So does the court.
She has, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, she brought a guy home, and in front of my kids. My kids were 2 of them were awake down in the basement, and they heard the whole thing. My daughter was there, too. She heard the whole thing.
What did she hear?
Well, she heard them going at it in the bedroom.
How old's your daughter?
18. And so did my 12-year-old, and my 8-year-old told me the same thing.
So your 12 and 8-year-old told you, we heard Mom come in from a bar with a guy going at it in the bedroom.
Well, they just said that they were downstairs playing video games in the basement. And this is a 3-story house. And they heard the bed rocking.
The video games haven't worked.
What floor is the bedroom on?
It's up in the 3rd floor.
So they were in the basement.
Yep.
And she was on the 3rd floor.
Yep.
And they heard her going.
Yeah, they were going at it, yeah. You know, Dr. Phill, and we thought it was her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, but as it turns out, it wasn't her boyfriend, because she bragged to my daughter that it was another guy that she met.
No, it wasn't.
So if the 3rd floors are rocking, don't come a knocking. That's your.
I guess.
Well, your kids are in the basement and they hear this, right? So y'all have 6 children?
We do, yeah.
And he's there, maybe he's there for 2 of them, and 4 he didn't show up for the birth, is what I'm saying.
I was working, Dr. Phill. You know what? I was an over-the-road truck driver. So that gave her plenty of time to do what she's been doing. You know what? One time she told me, she says, what am I supposed to do when I get horny? That's what she told me. She says, what am I supposed to do? I said, you know what? You're supposed to wait for me to get home, is what I told her. That's what a good wife would do.
Did you have 8 affairs?
No.
Well, of course you're not going to admit to it, Rachel.
No,
You're never going to admit to it. You know, you want to know how you know she's lying? Because her lips are moving.
Do you have a girlfriend?
You know what I do, Dr. Phill? You know why I have a girlfriend? Because I finally got fed up of all her affairs that she's having.
Did you send her some text messages about your girlfriend?
No, I didn't send them to her. I sent them to my dad. And she happened to intercept it because she's got a bug in my phone, Dr. Phill.
No.
She's got spyware. You know what? She gave me a phone preloaded with spyware, Dr. Phill. You can get spyware on your phone. If your wife wanted to keep tabs on you, all she has to do is download this stuff. I don't know how long that's been there.
What was in this text message she intercepted?
I think I just told my dad that I had a girlfriend.
Didn't you send him some pictures?
I sent him a picture of her, yeah.
Pretty close up?
I sent it to her just recently, Dr. Phill.
Well, wait a minute. I asked you if you sent her a picture.
Right, but...
sent her a text about your girlfriend. You said, no, I sent it to my dad, and she intercepted it through spyware.
No, because she had...
And now you're saying, no, I did send it to her, but just recently.
No. Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay?
I don't think you did.
No, I did. Because you know what? She was telling me that she was ugly. My girlfriend was ugly. And I said, you know what? Is this ugly?
You sent that to your wife?
Yeah, I did, yep. Yeah, it looks bad. Okay, I understand that.
We're going to find out what Rachel did that made George want to crawl through the phone and choke the life out of her. His words, not mine. Plus, I want to ask Rachel about the melatonin moment when we come back.
I created a phantom account on Yahoo to try to catch Rachel. I chatted with her for like 2 days. I love to catch her lying and rub it in her face, which isn't hard because Rachel lies a lot. She can't tell the truth to save her life.
And later, somebody is flat out lying to me. You need to hear what I'm saying or we're done.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. She's his girlfriend.
He calls you despicable names.
The mother of his child.
Did you spit on her?
I have, yes.
With another on the way.
He was trying to get me home by dragging me.
This is more than jealous love.
Matt thinks I'm sleeping with half the town.
Is it dangerous love?
That's one of my fears, is that she has someone around my son.
The one I'm concerned being around the children is you.
That's tomorrow.
In 2011, I went on a trip to California. Rachel was angry because I didn't bring her along. My son made a video through the window where I could see Rachel and this guy sitting right next to each other. You can hear kissing. My daughter Katrina was home, and later she could hear this guy snoring in my bed. I was very crushed that she would bring anybody to the house, let alone in our bed that we shared. If I could have crawled through the phone line to choke her, I would have.
Well, George says his wife, Rachel, is a crazy, jealous, calculating woman who drove him to start cheating 8 months ago after he found nude pictures of her on their family computer. Now, he says his wife even had sex with another man in their marital bed while their children were home. Now, look, first off, did that happen?
I brought somebody to the house, but didn't have sex. He didn't even stay at the house.
Yes, he did, Rach. He left at 3 in the morning. He got there at 9 o'clock.
Did not stay there.
From 9 to 3?
Did not
And then
stay
you
there.
borrowed money from our son so you could buy booze for him?
No,
and then you
I
never
didn't.
even paid him the money back.
Did you have a date that night at the house?
Yeah, but I didn't sleep with anybody.
But you did have a date there at the house?
I did.
Okay.
And it was,
And
at
were
the time,
y'all-
I thought it was a harmless friendship.
In our bed naked, harmless.
Not.
Were
you there?
Well,
You
no,
weren't-
that's
you
why
weren't-
you brought him.
Why else would you bring him?
But he doesn't know I slept with him.
I'm asking the questions here.
I'm sorry, doctor.
You had a date that night.
You could call it that, yeah.
Well, I did. Would you call it that? You had a date there at
Sure.
the house, okay? Did you make out with him in the kitchen?
We kissed, but that was it.
You said...
But
you
my
said-
daughter was sitting at the kitchen table. You think I'm all over a guy?
I heard you. Dr. Phill, she left the phone on so I could hear her. I heard 50 minutes of the conversation.
So you did make out with him in the kitchen, and you just told me that your daughter was at the table, the kitchen table.
I didn't make out with... We kissed. Probably when she went in the other room.
Probably when she went in the other room?
Well, I wouldn't do it in front of my kids, yeah.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Have you been unfaithful during your marriage?
I was. Not sexually intimate.
Okay.
when I said unfaithful, I didn't mean did you root for the other team. I meant, did you cheat on your husband while you were married? Come on, we're here.
Yes,
we might
right.
as well...
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But nothing in the last 3 years.
Okay, you've been married 19.
No, we've been married 15. We've been together 19 years.
With how many different guys, Reach?
I've only seen one. I've met 2 different guys.
Okay, do you want this marriage to be over with?
Yes.
Are you still emotionally invested in him?
No.
I'm just trying to figure things out so I can help you find a peaceful place to be.
No, I just want the best for our kids, and the best for our kids.
Me, Rach. Give
the
them
best
to me.
for our kids is getting along.
Okay.
You want the best for our kids? Let me have them.
Are you in a relationship now?
I am.
Does this boyfriend know about your third floor visitor?
I have not brought anybody to my house.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lie.
It is.
So the kids are lying if they say that. He's lying if he says that.
And if my kids are up when I come home from the bar, yeah, they should be in bed.
Dr. Phill, can I say something?
Not yet. Are you having, when you go, do you go out some?
Yes.
Do you go to bars and?
Yeah.
Who babysits the children?
Well, my daughter.
And she's how old?
18.
And do you ever leave the 12-year-old?
My 12-year-old has
to babysit?
Has once, and he has when I went back to work. He watches them after school, and then, you know, I have my...
So the 12-year-old babysits the 7-year-old and the 7-year-old twins and...
Yes, with having my parents come and check on them. My parents live a block from me.
He thinks you're not taking care of your children.
Right.
Are you neglecting your children and partying too much?
I probably did over Christmas. For between Christmas and New Year's. I wasn't gone every night.
Well, that's kind of an important time in children's lives.
Right. Where was he?
I'm asking you where you were.
Well, I know where I was.
The bar?
Yeah, I went out.
Okay, we're going to meet George's 24-year-old daughter and find out why she has not talked to Rachel or her father in 2 years. We'll be right back.
I hate Rachel. It physically makes me sick to think about different things that have happened and knowing that my little brothers are still in that household. Rachel is totally mentally unstable. She's a crazy person.
My 2 oldest daughters live with their mom, and Rachel always interfered with my visitations with them. Rachel would get angry if I would go visit. She just has a jealous rage about her. She would block the door. On many occasions, Rachel would throw dishes on the floor, and it happened so frequently that I stopped interacting with my daughters. To this day, I don't have a very good relationship with them.
George and Rachel both say they're living in a sham of a marriage with nonstop fighting and infidelity. Now, they've not seen George's 24-year-old daughter, Chelsea, in 2 years after they deleted her from their Facebook accounts during an argument. Now, Chelsea says she hates her stepmother, Rachel, for brainwashing her father and destroying their relationship.
My dad and Rachel's relationship really makes me angry. I hate Rachel. Rachel was controlling. It was her way or no way. She's 100% the reason why I don't have a relationship with my dad. It's ruined. I haven't really spoken to my father or seen any of my siblings since September of 2012. I didn't know Rachel didn't want me there, and she liked the fact that I quit talking to my dad and that I didn't have anything to do with the kids' lives. As a parent, I think Rachel is completely unfit. All Rachel really cares about is herself and her needs, her desires, her wants. Rachel is totally mentally unstable. She's a crazy person. It physically makes me sick to think about different things that have happened and knowing that my little brothers are still in that household. I probably wouldn't have laid hands on her, but I would have liked to see the fear in her eyes. I never want to have a relationship with Rachel, ever. I think that she's a horrible person.
Chelsea, I'm glad you're here. Now, you don't have a relationship with Rachel at all.
No.
And you actually don't have much relationship with your dad either.
Mm-mm.
So he's estranged from Rachel, but yet you still don't have a relationship with him, even though they've split up, or have they? Is this just chapter 42 in their saga, or what?
Actually, we're talking more than we have been.
Chelsea, you're the one with the long hair that I asked the question. So I'll let you answer instead of your father.
The whole relationship that they have, it's way too confusing. I don't even know, they're trying at different times to work it out, and they're cheating on each other so much that I just stay out of it. Like, I just told them, if you're going to be with this woman who claims to, parent their children, and she's, letting these men come over to their house while all my siblings are home. I have text messages from my little brother saying, Rachel took money from me. She's buying booze for this man. They're in the bedroom. God only knows what they're doing in there. And I told my dad that, and at the time he had said he needs to worry about the kids in that household. And, I wasn't in that household, thank God. And he said that he needed to help control this situation.
Let me stop you right there, because somebody is flat out lying to me. And when I'm flat out lied to, I want to get this straight or I'm done. Because I can't help people if they lie to me.
Right.
Now, I ask you straight up, are you bringing men to the house around the children? Now, let me finish. And I ask that because one thing I know is that when non-biological males are in the home around underage children, the risk of abuse and sexual molestation goes up multiples. Some estimate it goes up as high as 31 times normal if there are non-biological males in the home around underage children. So just from a forensic standpoint, one of the things I always ask is, are you bringing men into the home where there are underage children? So I asked you, and you said, no. I am not bringing men in the home. Now, Chelsea comes in and says, yes, she is, and I have text messages from the underage children saying, not only is she bringing them home, she's taking my money and buying them alcohol. Now, if that's true, let me finish, and then you can respond, because you need to hear everything I say, because your next answer is going to make a really big determination as to whether or not our conversation could end. No, you can't, because you haven't heard the question yet.
Ask the date.
You need to hear what I'm saying or we're done. Because if you've blatantly lied to me, we're done.
Okay.
If, in fact, you are bringing men into the home with underage children, and, in fact, you are then giving them alcohol inside the home around underage children, now you're stacking risk on top of risk on top of risk. If, in fact, you then are giving the children even over-the-counter sleep aids where you're rendering them to an altered state of consciousness, now I'm stacking risk factor on top of risk factor on top of risk factor. So just from my standpoint, this is getting to the point where, as a mandated reporter, I'm starting to get to a point where I got to start picking up the phone and calling the Department of Child and Family Services. Hey, did you ask your son to videotape this?
No, I didn't. I asked my daughter to.
Do y'all have any boundaries with these children at all? I want you to tell me the truth. And I don't want to hear a bunch of yeah, but, maybe, sort of, kind of spin. You need to speak with the truth, because this is being taped, and trust me, Child Protective Services will look at this interview and they will carefully review your response.
Right.
So did you lie to me when I asked you, are you bringing men in the home around these children? I don't give a damn the date.
Currently, no.
I didn't ask you currently. I didn't ask you in the last 72 hours, in the last week, the last 3 weeks. I asked you if you're bringing men into the home. I didn't say in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 1 week, 2 weeks. I just asked you if that's been part of the pattern of this relationship. And you said no. Are you changing your answer now? And if so, okay, change your answer.
I brought one person to the house. One person. My minor children were not there.
That makes it better?
No, it doesn't. But
that's the point, Rachel. That is the point.
But get this. Chelsea, you know what's going on right now in our lives?
Yep, I do.
Because you're there.
It doesn't matter if I'm there. I have connections, and it doesn't even...
You have connections. You're at my house. You know what's going on?
I don't even need to know what's going on in your house. I know. The kind of person you are. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you meet a man on the internet?
That's where I met that guy, yeah.
Did you tell us that you continued to meet with him 4 times?
Yes.
Did you say that your son and your 12-year-old were there and did not like him?
And you were drunk. They hit a sign.
I was drunk?
They hit a sign on the way when he left. The police stopped him a couple blocks down the road because he hit a stop sign.
And he was drunk?
Well, if he hit a stop sign...
He had a trailer, and the trailer ran it over when he turned.
He started drinking at 9 o'clock till whenever the case was gone.
No.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were there to know it all.
Rach, you...
Well, no, and if that was it, and that was the extent of it, then that's what I want to know. You said Katrina and my 13-year-old were there. My son did not approve of him or me bringing my friend into my house. My daughter didn't mind.
Right.
She sat at the table, but my son was acting like an unruly kid. My son called his father and told him what was going on.
Right.
Sent me a video.
And he's texted me.
By the way, did you ask your son to videotape this?
No, I didn't. No, he's...
Have you ever asked your son to videotape his mother?
No.
Have you ever asked him to audio tape his mother?
No. You know what? I asked my daughter to.
Pardon me?
I asked my daughter to.
Which
Katrina.
daughter?
She's going to kick the crap out of her. And what
that's
did she
not
do?
even what she said.
Well, that's why I told her to record.
Katrina was mad. So we were talking in the kitchen, me and my friend. And Katrina was mad because she was there, and she went and slammed the door, went back upstairs after the 3rd time of slamming the door. And my friend went up the steps and opened the door and told her, you don't need to be slamming that door. Next time I'll come up.
She kicked her out of the house.
I did not kick her out of the house.
You did.
But your son sent you a 30-second video.
Yeah, this was in 2013.
No, it wasn't 2013.
12,
But your son sent you a 30-second video.
Yep.
Do y'all have any boundaries with these children at all?
No,
I do.
I didn't ask him to, Dr. Phil.
I
didn't ask him to.
I do not
he took it upon himself. He goes, look what's going on while you're gone, Dad.
I don't put
You said to him, see what's going on. You told us, you said to him, see what's going on.
Well, he was, okay, because...
That's what you said to us.
I probably did. You know, it's been a long time, Dr. Phil. 2012, yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to meet George and Rachel's 18-year-old daughter. We're going to find out why she says she had to call the police on her own mother. We're going to add her to this group. Chelsea, stay with us, all right? We'll be right back.
My mom brought a stranger home and had sex with him when my 12-year-old and my 7-year-old little brother were still up. I heard everything, and the 12-year-old heard the bed moving.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill, his girlfriend is pregnant.
Matt thinks I'm sleeping with half the town.
I'm 100% sure this is not my child.
If you believe that she's having another man's baby, why are you still here?
That's tomorrow.
When Katrina, our first daughter, was born, all hell broke loose. My wife, Rachel, then had something to control me with by telling me that if I didn't get home from wherever I might be, that she was going to hurt my daughter. I would get angry. She would see it. And so what she would do is defuse me by throwing herself at me. Rachel used sex to diffuse our arguments. That's her #1 arsenal.
George says his wife, Rachel, is a horrible mother who neglects their children and even gave their 8-year-old son and 7-year-old twins melatonin to make them go to sleep so she could go out partying with her boyfriend. She's shaking her head, no, no, no. Rachel and Georgia's 18-year-old daughter, Katrina, says she is so tired of her parents' toxic behavior, they both need to grow up and stop making her take on the role of parent to her siblings.
There's just too much drama between my family. My parents doing all this fighting. They constantly argue in front of me and the little ones. My mom would leave me with the kids every day just to go to the bars because she knows that I would babysit them. She's selfish like that. Honestly, I hate her. My mom brought a stranger home and had sex with him when my 12-year-old and my 7-year-old little brother were still up. I heard everything. And the 12-year-old heard the bed moving. I felt like I should have told her straight to her face saying, why'd you bring a guy home in the middle of the night just to have sex with him in your bed when everyone can hear you? I just don't want to be in the middle of it. I just wanted to escape altogether. I am 3 months pregnant. I don't want my mom around my baby ever after what she's done to me. I just want to get away from them. My mother kicked me out because I had put up with their crap so much. And I'm done with it. I just told her off. I'm done with her. When she's angry, she normally takes it out on me. She'll yell at me. She'll make me feel worthless. It makes me feel like I'm nothing to her. I mean, I'm nothing to her.
Well, Katrina, I'm glad you're joining us. I wish we were talking about 100 other things. You're very upset with the environment you're living in, correct?
Yes, I am.
And you're very upset with your mother.
Yes.
What is your main complaint with her?
I just don't like the way she leaves me babysitting for hours. It's just so she can go to the bar. When I'm pregnant, who does that?
And now she's doing it a lot.
Yes, she is. And half of the time I would cover up for her because she told me so many lies about my own father.
I did not tell your dad.
You did too. Stop lying. I'm done with your crap.
I didn't. That's why.
Stop. I don't want to hear from you, okay?
You say on New Year's Eve, you said she went out and came home at 1 a.m. drunk with a guy other than her boyfriend brought her home?
Because for New Year's, I came back from a friend's house. And then later on at night, she comes home with this one dude. Don't even know who he is.
We thought it was her boyfriend, but it wasn't.
Are you giving these children melatonin?
I occasionally give them melatonin so that they sleep at night. They're boys, they high energy levels, but not so I can go out.
Do you really want to drug your kids to sleep? Who cares
I don't
if it's
drug them to sleep.
But what is that?
But what time is a reasonable time? In your eyes, you're a parent, right? What's a reasonable...
I'm not a parent, Rachel. Don't get smart.
I know that. But what's a reasonable time for them to go to bed? Midnight?
Well, why don't you be the parent,
Did you put up a post on December 14th asking for food?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I get I'm 18 and I don't know how to cook. I get that I should be able to cook. I post on Facebook, I'm like, if you love me, if someone loves me, can you bring me food? And she messaged me asking what food I wanted. He is like, do you want any McDonald's? I'll bring you some. But I was still mad at him at the time. And so I'd ignored him and I told her, yeah, I did. And then she never brought me food.
Who brought your food?
He brought me food at 11 because he's like, do you want pizza? And I'm like, sure.
So you're saying you were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday without food?
There is food in my house if she wants to cook.
What are you people doing? What are you doing? What do you do all day?
Well, I work.
Are you out of town?
No, I work. Yeah, out of town. Yeah, I work 100 miles from home. I commute 200 miles a day.
And
where are you?
I just recently went back to work this past week.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
I let Rachel handle the finances for the family. It has ruined us. I am on the verge of bankruptcy.
He wanted no part of it. except for when something went wrong, then he had somebody to blame.
I started a trucking company. Rachel opened up a credit card under the business, spending $500 to $1,000 a week. I had to take a home equity loan to pay off this $4,500. My banker told me that I had to stop my wife or she was going to bankrupt me. Rachel has been stealing identities for her own financial gain. She's stolen my daughter's. She opened up a QVC account in her name when Katrina was 16 years old. Well, she's stolen her dad's. I had Visa calling my house asking for Rachel's father. Rachel had opened up an account in his name and racked it up to $3,200. I was very angry with Rachel. How could you do this to our family?
Well, George says his wife, Rachel, has not only had multiple affairs, but is also cheating on him financially, causing him to lose his trucking company and be on the verge of bankruptcy. But Rachel says George is just using her as a scapegoat, and she is not the reason that he lost all of his money. I asked family law attorney Lynn Sudik to join us, and she says if George and Rachel end up in a custody battle, it will be one bad parent against another bad parent. It's like you don't have a great choice here. Lynn, you've fought through these things a million times. What do you see here?
Well, first, other than you, there's no one credible on the stage. And that is going to be so difficult in a custody battle because someone who doesn't even know you is going to have to decide the fate of your children. They'll hear a couple hours of testimony and they'll have to try to figure out the facts. And as I hear them, you both contradict everything you say. So that's going to be the hardest thing. The court's going to look at the fact that you're alienating your children, that you're asking them to tape the other parent. That's not in the best interest of the children. And what you're doing is really damaging the children. The court is going to have to decide which alienator is better. What Lynn is telling you here is that both of you should be horrified at the potentialities here, because in this situation, it is a crapshoot. You have no idea what a court might do in a situation. It would be hard to predict, don't you think? Well, it would be hard to predict, but there is one problem that we haven't really discussed. George really doesn't seem to be available. What would you tell them they need to do to maximize the healthiest alternative for this family? First, they have to realize how much they're hurting their children. They can hate each other all they want, but really, they don't understand it. They're hating their children by what they're doing. So they have to go to a parenting class. They need to learn how to be a good parent. They have to promote the other parent. They may not like them, but they have to promote the other parent to their children. They need to change their ways. Do you believe that if you defeat her, you win? No. Because you said, I asked you, why are we here? And you said, because I want everybody to know how bad she is. I said, so it's basically character assassination. Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh, look, listen, I'm really trying to help you here. I know you are, Doctor. Seriously, you don't want to do that. The best gift you can give your children is to support a relationship between them and their mother. That's the greatest gift you can give your children. The best gift you can give your children is to support a relationship between them and their father. As far as these children go, we need to respect your children's mother. You need to respect your children's father. You need to take them out of the middle. It is a great gift to those children. I'm just telling you. I never have been of the opinion that we're doing 8-minute cures up here, you know, the segment with people, we fix their lives. This is the beginning, not the end. And we try to help people when they leave here. And you guys, I want very much for you guys to work out a co-parenting plan here. And if you are willing to work on that,
I will provide you the professional counsel to do that with. Will you do that?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, you don't want to walk through that courtroom door and get into a mudslinging contest because you may not like the outcome.
Yeah.
All right, I really want to thank all of my guests today. Special thanks to Attorney Lynn Sudik, Dr. Rachel Lusogorski. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Chelsea, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Lynn, thanks so much. Well done. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Phill, the story that made national headlines.
Their live-in nanny refuses to leave.
The media dubbed Diane the squatter nanny.
For the first time on television.
She said you just laid around and did nothing.
That's a bald-faced lie.
Mother and nanny face off.
You yelled at me and told me I was a dog.
Did you try to drive her out?
No, I didn't.
I mean, did you blast her with music? That either happened or it didn't.
A Dr. Phill exclusive.
Have you ever been evaluated? Do you have any mental issues?
You are a vicious, malicious person.
Plus,
My sister has sued my family approximately 10 times. She has done horrific things.
the nanny's family speaks out.
You tried your best to break me, and I am still standing. It's time for you to stop.
She was the nanny who was fired from her job but refused to move out of the house. You've seen the story. It made national headlines when the unthinkable happened to a family, and it has people all over the country talking. Now, Pretty Unlimited in New Jersey tweets, once people ask or tell you to go away from their home, you leave. You don't turn someone's home into your battlefield. Kitty Bradshaw in California tweets, good for the nanny for taking a stand. This will make people think twice before abusing their nannies and maid staff. People are divided. On the one side, we have a mother of 3 young children who says she wanted nothing more than to find the perfect nanny. And on the other side, a 64-year-old nanny who says she was made false promises and is now evicted. Well, for the first time, the 2 women face off on this stage, and we are going to get to the bottom of what happened. Take a look.
The local couple says their live-in nanny is no longer welcome, but refuses to leave.
They say it's hard to hire good help. Well, guess what? It's even harder to fire bad help.
Marcella and Ralph Bracamonte hired the 64-year-old woman to help with their 3 children.
First couple of weeks with the nanny were good, and then they say she just stopped working.
The couple took Stretton to court, but a judge ruled against them on a technicality and said they needed to file the legal papers again.
I'm now a victim in my own home, and it's completely legal.
Stretton was not talking at first, but she has since lashed out at the family.
When I was working there, I didn't get lunch breaks. I didn't get coffee breaks. Basically, I was working 24/7.
She wouldn't do anything. She stayed in her room 90% of the day, so I really did try to work with her.
She's moved out, at least for now.
We found nanny Diane Stretton late last night hiding out in her car.
We just want to hear your side of this story.
They have lied so much, and they have been so mean-spirited in harming me when I gave them way more. I gave them 4 to 5 times what they were entitled to, and then I get treated like this.
Well, the mom in the middle of this mess says all she was looking for was someone to love on her kids and be part of her family. So she posted an ad on Craigslist looking for a live-in nanny.
I hired a nanny to help my family, and it turned into us being victimized. My husband works quite a bit. I have 3 children. I was trying to start a new business. It just became overwhelming. I went to Craigslist. I had 3 people respond to it, and I corresponded with Diane. She seemed the best out of the 3. I met Diane. I asked her for her driver's license and her social security number. I did a background check. I asked her to write down 3 references. All of them gave her rave reviews. When I decided I would hire her, I promised her room and board. Diane's performance at first was good. It all went downhill after 3 weeks.
According to Marcella, the nanny stopped working, stayed in her room, lounged on the couch, and just did nothing all day long. Finally, the family had enough, and that's when they say things turn scary.
Past 3 months with Diane have been an absolute nightmare.
She stopped doing everything altogether. So this is the room that Diane stayed in, and that's the chair that she sat in for over 8 hours a day. Once I asked her to leave, and she looked at me with that grin of, yeah, right kind of look. She said, if you want me to leave, you'll have to evict me. She slammed the door on me. It sent a cold chill down my spine. I got nervous because a woman that is now hateful towards me is sleeping right across from my child. She tried to go in my boys' room and scare them, try to torment them.
I learned that she ended up grabbing my son, throwing him to the ground, and he hurt himself. It just still makes me sick to my stomach.
Diane held us hostage in our home. I was scared and angry. This woman is a bully in every way, shape, and form. So this is the bike lock that we would put on our fridge because we were scared of Diane and what she could do. She might poison our food.
Some nights I wake up still a lot, 3, 4 in the morning, just listening for any sound.
She'll never stop. This room needs to get blessed as soon as possible. I don't think that Dr. Phill is going to be able to get anything out of her. Why? Because she's not right in the head. I think she's a danger to society. She literally is a homeland terrorist. This is my home. This is where we're supposed to feel safe. And I had to sleep with one eye open.
Okay, so it's good to meet y'all. You posted an ad on Craigslist.
Yes.
And a lot of people would say not the best place to look for somebody that you're going to put in your home because you don't know much about those people. But did you check this woman out before you hired her?
I did do a background check. I have hired a prior nanny before off of Craigslist, and I had her for 2 years. And she was amazing, and we're still friends.
Well, here's the Craigslist ad that you put up looking for a nanny. It says, when I leave for a couple hours at a time, I need someone with my children. I need backup on keeping my house clean and getting the start on meals for family. I'm looking for someone long-term who preferably gets a retirement, who wants to be part of a family. There is no pay, just room and board. Mm-hmm. And how many responses did you get?
I got 3.
You got 3?
3.
And did you interview 3?
I did some phone interviews on the 2, and I decided not to go further on the 2, and then talked to Diane, and I wanted to meet her.
The deal is no pay, but room and board.
Right. And that was because I was going to be doing my work from home, and I was trying to start a business, and so I was going to be home a lot.
Things went along okay for a while. How long?
About a good 3 weeks.
Okay. And then what was your first sign that this isn't going to work?
Why I say she was good the first 3 weeks was because she was very hands-on with my middle child. They were awesome. But besides that, she didn't do anything as far as help me cook, help me clean. And I was just kind of letting it go because she was good with my kids. I didn't want to take someone away from my kids so soon. I was trying to talk to her, give her chances. And then when she got real comfortable with my 4-year-old, that's when I started to see the negative part of her come out. That's when I started to see she started getting very rough with him, as far as verbally rough with him. When I told her to stop, she completely withdrew herself and started staying in her room, and she might come out to wash a few dishes after that. After a couple weeks after that, she stopped washing dishes altogether. Just a lot of things were changing, and I just had to step in and say something.
Okay, well, I think these are your expectations of her as a nanny, to keep the kids busy doing schoolwork, arts and crafts, reading, music, writing, playing in the yard or swimming, an hour of TV allowed, and then Bible study. Those were kind of the things that you valued.
That was the last list I gave her. There was another list, and I didn't keep it, I'm sorry. I had given her a list of duties as far as helping me cook, prepare meals, which was on the ad, the Craigslist ad. Help me prepare meals, help me clean. These were things to help to keep the kids busy. But she wasn't doing any of it.
So she wasn't doing what you listed in the ad, and we saw the ad earlier when you said help you get meals started and...
Yeah, she was never there to help me prepare the meals, but she was there to eat all the meals.
Okay, so did you give her exact hours of what you expected as a nanny?
I didn't give her exact hours because the hours always changed.
I felt this was a very casual agreement. I didn't think it was going to get litigious in any way.
It's not working out. And you ask her to move out.
Yes.
And what happened?
I asked Diane to sign a last chance letter, and that was giving her either shape up or 30 days. And she said she wouldn't sign it because it was illegal and slammed the door in my face. So then I went and I wrote, okay, well, you have 30 days to leave, and if you stay after 30 days, you'll have to pay rent. And she didn't want to sign that either. And then I said, then you need to leave for insubordination. You're out now. You get out now. And she says, I don't need to leave. You can't make me leave. You'll have to evict me.
Here's the letter. You said, I have been very disappointed in your services. You act like you're a visitor in my home. You are not. You are hired help. Here are your duties. Out of your room by 8, Monday through Friday. Help care for all children, making lunch. Help with all duties, cleaning, cooking, trips with kids, and anything else mother asks. I will say it's time to clean the house. I want you to steam clean all floors, clean your room, and clean your bathroom. I will inspect. She didn't want to agree to that. Okay, so then you said, all right, I want you to leave. And she says no. So you went through a series of things to get her to leave. You mistakenly gave a 3-day notice to perform or quit.
Yes.
And the reason I say mistakenly is that wasn't what you intended, because that gives her a chance to improve, to perform, and you wanted to stop, not mediate at that point. Yes. So then you gave her a 3-day notice to quit.
Yes.
Okay. And then the police were called because she wouldn't leave and you wanted them to remove her from the premises.
Right.
Okay. Then you taped a 30-day notice to her door. It's okay, if I got to give notice, I'm going to...
No, it was not 30 days.
You did not tape a 30-day notice to her door and put it under her door?
No. Well, I did, but I told her this doesn't count anymore. The 3-day notice is now what it is.
So you did give her a 30-day notice?
That was the first one. And when I found out,
I'm just trying to make a list of what you did.
The 30 days was the 30. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of information.
I'm starting to get a little confused myself here. A little hard to track.
Yeah.
Here.
When I found out that I could actually do a 3-day notice to quit, that's when I said, well, scratch the 30 days. I want you out now. So I'm going to give the 3 days. And that's what happened.
Let's take a break. Mom Marcella and Nanny Diane have not talked face-to-face since the nanny was kicked to the curb. Well, Diane is here. We'll find out what she has to say when we come back.
Marcella had the Wi-Fi turned off, the cable turned off. She put a lock on the refrigerator, and she locked my bathroom and the laundry room. You do not ever cross Marcella. Nobody does.
And later...
You also yelled at me and told me I was a dog. Get back in my room.
I would never tell you to get back in your room. I'd say get out of my house.
As we learned more about Diane, we started to find all the things that she had done to other people. Stories of her childhood, how she used to torture her little sister, throw her in a cactus all the time. Stories about things that she's done to her children. We heard of her putting a knife to somebody and saying, you have to go to sleep sometime. It puts more fear in you.
For the first time since Nanny Diane was finally forced to move out of Ralph and Marcella's home, she is here. You might guess she tells a very different story. Diane says she was the one who was harassed and tortured during her employment.
It was very, very clear to me that you do not ever cross Marcella. Nobody does. A little more than 3 months after I started working there, Marcella gave me my last chance letter. When I didn't sign it, that's when everything blew up. She had the Wi-Fi turned off, the cable turned off. She put a lock on the refrigerator, and she locked my bathroom and the laundry room. And I come home one night, the house is dark, suddenly all the lights went on.
Why won't you leave?
The whole thing was extremely unpleasant and an extreme violation of my rights.
She wouldn't do anything.
Nanny nightmare story.
A habitual liar.
In the media, Marcella has said that the family was afraid of me, that I would poison them, that I might stab her in the middle of the night. She's afraid that I would burn the house down. I never did any behavior that anyone could construe as being threatening in any manner. First of all, they have a nanny cam. So if any of these things were true, why have they not released any footage showing this behavior? Marcella has a very vivid imagination. She just enjoyed the media attention so much, and her story began to get embellished. She's a con artist. Con artists have a way of switching things around. Her Facebook page had said that she wanted to ruin me. I'm just afraid that she's obsessed with somehow harming me. She's done everything but take a gun and shoot me in the head.
Well, Diane, come on out. Diane, Dr. Phill, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Let's step back there.
No.
Help you up a little bit. What's your reaction or comment to anything that you've heard so far?
I just have a question why she could have notes and I wasn't able to bring any.
Well, first of all, she said that I was in my room 90% of the day, beginning at 3 weeks. Now, Marcella is an extremely impatient person. When I didn't sign the last chance letter, it wasn't 5 minutes before she was dialing the police officer to have me thrown out on the street. She would not have tolerated any kind of not doing my duties for 10, 12 weeks like she claims. Mm-hmm. And just a week before the last chance letter was the only other time that she spoke to me regarding my performance. And at that time she said my performance was satisfactory, but she wanted me to do more. She wanted me to do an A+.
You were asked to leave. You were fired. Why not just leave? Why did you stay after you knew they didn't want you there?
Well, because when I interviewed, Marcella was very concerned that when my children had children and I became a grandmother, that I would abandon her. So she wanted to have 30 days notice before I quit so that she could find another nanny. And I said, fine, then let's make that reciprocal.
But you didn't quit, you got fired. So that certainly relieves you.
No, I quit 2 days before I got fired. But we had agreed that there would be 30 days.
But I would think that when people are like going to court and calling the police and all, that one would kind of think they've waived the 30 days. Why did you stay?
I was trying to look for someplace else to live.
Did you use that 30 days for that purpose?
I began searching, but she turned off the internet 2 days later, so I went to public places. But then when things spun out of control, I hadn't located anything, and then I quit looking.
I'm curious if you did the things that she says you did, because she said at a certain point you wouldn't help with the meals, but you were always happy to eat them, that you wouldn't help clean, you wouldn't work around the house, that you just kind of laid around and did nothing.
That's a bald-faced lie. I did all dishes every single day, every single meal, the entire time I was there, until the 6th of June. Mm-hmm. And then she said she didn't want me near her or the children. She didn't want me to do anything, so at that point I stopped.
Some of the things that you said, I mean, they're not true.
What is not true that she said?
No breaks and stuff. That wasn't true. You know that wasn't true.
Yes, that was true. I was on call constantly. In fact, I gave the show some of Marcella's texts where I was expected to do things at early in the morning and late at night. Way more than an 8-hour shift.
But the thing was, you're trying to say it was a consistent 8 hours. It was never a consistent 8 hours.
Yes, it was. Any time that Marcella snapped her fingers, I was supposed to come running. And it didn't matter. Even when I was sick, I was vomiting and I had diarrhea. She didn't care if I got lightheaded and I dropped the baby. She just knew that she wanted to go out and party. So she came home, dropped the baby off at 1 o'clock, and it was my problem, whether I was ill or not.
I'm so sorry that you feel the way that way. I really do. I really feel like we made you part of our family. We cooked every meal for you. I served you coffee in the morning.
I made you a Mother's Day meal.
We made you
ended up
Mother's
inviting
Day
you
meal.
to parties with
No,
us.
you made that for Marcella.
No,
I just happened to be
I made it for you
we
as well.
invited you out
I told
there.
you Happy Mother's Day.
We told my kids told you Happy Mother's Day. If you had just done the bare minimum, you would still have a place over your head.
I did do
You
way,
did not
way, way
do
beyond
the
the bare minimum.
And you threw a tantrum like a child when I asked you to shape up.
No, I
you
didn't.
slammed the
I didn't
door
say
on my
anything.
face.
I
and
don't
you throw
slam
a
doors.
fit when
And I
when
don't
I asked
scream.
you to clean your bathroom.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what was in the letter that Diane sent to Marcella that caused Marcella to feel like she was being extorted. Plus, what happened to the nanny after she was thrown out of Ralph and Marcella's house with no money and no place to go. We'll be right back.
I'm angry because I was constructively evicted from the Bracamontes' home. This shouldn't have happened. It's just wrong.
And later,
You tried your best to break me, and I'm here to stand here in front of you and say I am still standing.
Diane thinks that she's smarter than everybody. I can guarantee you she'll think she's smarter than Dr. Phill. She was living like a princess in my home, and the only one that reigns in my home is me. And I see that in the past she's ran over a lot of people and they just took it, and I'm not gonna let her run over anyone anymore.
Marcella was really, really moody. The first 2 weeks I was there, she went into great detail about how she had gotten revenge against every friend that she'd ever had, almost. At that point, I knew there might be a problem.
the media dubbed Diane the squatter nanny when she refused to move out of Marcella's house. Diane says, even though Marcella harassed her, removing the soap and toilet paper from her bathroom, she was still willing to take the abuse to avoid living on the streets.
Since I was constructively evicted from the Bracamontes' home, I've been homeless. This is my home. It's very cramped, and it's hard to carry everything with you. Living out of my car is very frustrating and very challenging. There's no bathroom for at least 8 hours at a stretch at night. You have to shower when there's some church that allows you to shower, and usually that's once or twice a week. I go to a lot of homeless feedings. On average, I get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and that's not restful sleep. Every night when I do this, it's like, I wonder how much longer I'm going to have to do this, because it's just wrong. I'm angry because this shouldn't have happened.
Okay, when you say this shouldn't have happened, what do you mean?
I mean the whole thing about being homeless. I've been a homeowner my whole life until my sisters evicted me from my own property.
Well, there was a letter that you sent to Marcella, according to her, on June 9th. I will voluntarily agree to leave if each and all of the following conditions are met. My Wi-Fi, TV, air conditioning, water must be continuously on. Bathrooms must be stocked with toilet paper and hand soap. Marcella and children must vacate the premises between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m., I have full access to room, garage, bathroom, and areas of the house between the front door and the bedroom. Given access to healthy food or given $200 to eat out. Front door and bedroom door cannot be locked in a manner that prevents entering, and locks cannot be changed. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, and it reflects what my rights were in the law. During the 30-day period in the law, every benefit, every amenity that you had has to remain.
And you made sure you knew the law before you got to my house, right? Right? You made sure you knew
I didn't try to set you up if that's what you're trying to insinuate.
Asking my wife to be out of the house that we pay for, between 8 and 5 p.m.
Yes,
with the children.
and are you aware of her conduct from the time that she served me with the 30-day notice? She would put that little speaker thing you have right outside my door. The rest of the family went to the far end of the house, so they didn't hear it.
You mean blasting music at you?
Yes.
Not true.
This is a woman who cleaned the house, twice in the 90 days, and suddenly she starts vacuuming outside my door.
But you know that's not true, though.
I even vacuumed your room for you. I cleaned your bathroom for you because you refused to do it.
I was not supposed to be doing that because of the number of hours.
Diane, have you got evaluated ever?
Stop it.
I mean, have you been to the hospital? Have you ever been evaluated? Can you answer that, please? Do you have any mental issues? I would like an answer for that one.
You would?
Yes.
Yes, in the course of my divorce, I've had many, many tests, and they all came out normal.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, did you try to drive her out?
No, I didn't.
I mean, did you blast her with music?
No, I had music on when all the family was there, and it was at a decent
But
hour.
you didn't put a speaker outside her door?
No.
The police came out twice over that.
Do you have the police reports? Did the police officer see that, or is it set up like your dog food?
Oh, the dog food happened too.
No.
I mean, you are a vicious, malicious person.
What happened with the dog food?
She sent her 4-year-old son to my door. He knocks on my door and he says, "Diane, we have your dinner for you. We have dog food for you." And afterwards they left, and I opened the door, and there were 3 cans of dog food outside the door. You also yelled at me and told me I was a dog. Get back in my room that weekend when I dared to leave it.
I would never tell you to get back in your room. I'd say get out of my house.
No, you told me to get back in the room.
Get out of my house.
Have you filed a lot of lawsuits?
Quite a few.
You've been in at least 37 lawsuits.
Do you plan to sue them? And later,
She looks in the law and she finds out what the law says she needs to prove, and she just lists all those things and then alleges that that's what we did. She did that when she sued us for wrongful death of our father.
is what they're saying accurate?
Not even close.
Diane told me one time when my wife was with our son on a camping trip that if my wife and I ever split up and I ever needed somebody in court to testify against her, that she would do it. And I looked at her and I laughed. I was like, no. I was all, okay, well, whatever. And she said, no, I'm serious.
Do you plan to sue them?
Well, I take a wait-and-see attitude, approach. It depends upon how damaged I am. If I go and when I get my pension and I try to rent an apartment and they go, oh, you're that nanny. No, we're not renting to you no matter what.
Do you feel that they have slandered you or defamed you?
Absolutely.
What is it they've said that is defamatory?
Practically everything they said. When they said that the initial news reports, when they were saying that I was eating their food, she had a lock on the refrigerator, and she also had a nanny cam.
What else have they said that's defamatory?
Well, the part about not working after 3 weeks, that's nonsense. Okay. I was working hours and hours and hours.
The good news for you is if these are the things that you feel like they've said that are defamatory or slanderous, you've corrected them here. Mm-hmm. So in that way, you've negated that impact because you've set the record straight. We've given you the opportunity to do that. They have described you as litigious. Are you litigious?
No, all of the cases are related to what my sisters have done and my divorce. It was all the family assets.
Well, have you filed a lot of lawsuits against people?
Quite a few.
How many would you guess?
You've been in at least 37 lawsuits. At least.
Some of them I was the defendant.
Yeah, because I have a book here of lawsuits that are a matter of public record, and we did not find 37. We stopped looking, but we found 27 of these. 7 were dismissed for lacking merit or standing, and of the 22 that we have, you represented yourself in 20 of those. And we found that you had an attorney that represented you in 2 of the things that we found. But one of the lawsuits you filed was against your attorney. Right? And you are listed on the vexatious litigant list in California, right?
Yes, I am.
Which means you don't have the access to the court system unless approved by a senior judge, because to get on that list, it's been determined that you have filed frivolous, meritless, or baseless lawsuits meant to harass. You mentioned your sisters and that you've had some of this has been probate related and to them. Well, Diane's sister and brother-in-law are here. They've not seen her in 6 years because they say they're afraid of this nanny. We're going to find out why Diane has filed several lawsuits against them and even blames them for being homeless. We'll be right back.
My sister Diane has a long history of filing lawsuits. She has sued my family approximately 10 times. For the past 14 years, Diane has held our family hostage.
When Diane feels like she's not getting her way, it seems like she just files a lawsuit, and if that fails, she files another lawsuit, and she keeps on time after time after time, draining everyone else's resources.
Well, former live-in nanny Diane recently made headlines when she refused to leave her employer's house even after they had fired her. And she's not only at odds with them. Diane's sister Donna and brother-in-law Bob say they have been in and out of court with Diane for the past 13 years and feel like she's holding them captive with her lawsuits. Take a look.
Diane has created havoc in our family.
Diane is my oldest sister. She has sued my family approximately 10 times. I think lawsuits are hard enough, but when it's your sister doing it, it's incredibly painful.
When Diane feels like she's not getting her way, it seems like she just files a lawsuit, and if that fails, she files another lawsuit, and she keeps on time after time after time, draining everyone else's resources.
My sister Diane has a long history of filing lawsuits against other people. She has sued doctors, nursing homes, hospitals, family, minor children of the family.
She's even sued a judge.
As far as I know, she has sued at least 50 times.
It seems like she just wants to cause pain and heartache.
For the past 14 years, Diane has held our family hostage with our time, our money, our emotions. She has done horrific things.
You had real trepidation about coming here today. Why?
She doesn't need a reason to sue. She sues, she makes things up. She looks in the law and she finds out what the law says she needs to prove, and she just lists all those things and then alleges that that's what we did. She did that when she sued us for wrongful death of our father.
Is what they're saying accurate?
Not even close.
Tell me what is accurate.
I had put everything in the family trust, and their strategy was that they were going to say that the trust was revoked. And they foreclosed on a bogus trustee that was on my main house, my family home. They took every single thing from me. They went into the house and they didn't even do an unlawful detainer. They just took all of my property, all of my photographs, all my jewelry.
I would like to say that I'm sorry, but you are lying. That has all been litigated repeatedly litigated, and you lost. Nothing. You did not win. You tried your best. In fact, you tried your best to break me. And I'm here to stand here in front of you and say I am still standing. You have stolen 13 and a half years of my life, of the time with my family that I can never get back. And I have watched for 27 years you sue other people. It has been horrible to watch your actions. You have been out of line. It's time for you to stop.
And let me ask you,
If
you had not had your plan to steal everything I owned from me.
Absolutely not.
If you would have followed the family trust,
the family trust was revoked when you caused the divorce.
I didn't cause the divorce. You caused the divorce. What you've done to me, you first did to our mother. And she ultimately died as a result of your abuse.
None of that is true.
All of it's true.
Only in Diane land.
The judgments you have aren't worth the powder to blow them to Timbuktu if the law is followed.
Well, speaking of the law, we have a legal expert here, Chris Chatham, who is a legal consultant to the Dr. Phil Show. He's going to try and sort some of this out. We'll be right back. Our resident legal consultant, Chris Chatham, is here. He is a licensed attorney here in the state of California. And Chris, how does all of this happen? How did this couple here hire someone to help with the children and wind up in a national headline battle?
When you get into disputes like this, you got to have a written agreement to reflect what the parties intended at the beginning rather than where you are now.
The moral of the story is you need to be real careful that you have a clear understanding with people you do business with, particularly if they have access to your home and your family, particularly if you're putting your life on hold to move in somewhere. There has to be clear understandings. You've had other nannies, right?
Yes.
Did you get along with those nannies?
Yeah. We got, you live with people. But yeah, for the most part, 90% of the time we got along.
Yeah. There was some talk about Becky.
Becky.
And Becky was going to be here today on the show, but then you canceled her.
I didn't. I just said she has a dog and she's concerned about her dog. And
well, no, actually, we interviewed her, and like 5 minutes after we finished her interview, you called and said, I need to clarify a few of her statements.
She called me and she said, I told them that, at the end, and she's like, and I don't remember if I told her at what part, but that I really didn't mind getting paid because, or not at the end. Because I did pay her when I worked for this whole time that I had her. I paid her, and that was also a lower wage because of the room and board. And
but
she
then
was
you
fine
called
with that.
us and canceled her.
I didn't call and cancel her.
Oh, actually, you did. I'll have the producer come out that took the phone call from you.
I wanted her to come on, but I said, if you can't make it, then you can't make it. She says, I'll come if they can put my dog up, but I don't have anyone to watch my dog.
We were going to talk to her on the phone.
Oh, no, she could talk. I told Joni, talk to her on the phone.
But why did you call us and say she can't participate?
No, I said she has dog issues.
It's the first time I've ever had one guest call and cancel another one.
I didn't cancel. I wanted her to be here.
Amy, was this guest canceled?
Yes, the guest was canceled.
I didn't.
And by who?
My associate producer, Joni, did the pre-interview. And then afterwards, Joni told me Marcella called her and wanted to clarify some statements. And then 5 minutes after that call, she called again and said that Becky could not do the show because she had to watch her own dogs.
I didn't call and cancel her. I said
you didn't call and say she has to watch her dogs.
I didn't know that me saying she needs to watch her dog was me canceling her.
It was made pretty clear that she needed to watch her dogs and that she was busy.
And this demonstrates the problems I had with them the entire time I was working with them.
I think it was just a huge misunderstanding.
I don't think there's any misunderstanding at all. Did the guest call and cancel, or did Marcella call?
Marcella called and canceled the guest.
You can call her. I did not.
I did call her, but you canceled her, or I'd be talking to her right now. Well, our audience has some strong reactions to this story. We're going to find out what they have to say next. We'll grab it. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
Well, viewers have been watching this live as it's happening. Tina N. Cummins says, come on, people. They're both culpable. Mom got a nanny from Craigslist to work for free, and Nanny took it and ran with it. Cobra Girl AZ said they were both looking to take advantage of each other. I don't advocate for either, but the nanny knew what she was doing. Richard Cruz on TV says This is a big wake-up call for anyone looking to have a live-in nanny. You need to use a service to help protect yourself. I've always said, you guys have heard me say this from the first year I was on Oprah, which, my God, was 18 years ago. I said, you got to be careful who you let in your life. You got to be careful who you let in your life. You got to be careful who you let in your life. We all have to be careful. And if you had known this woman had filed 37 lawsuits against people, dozens of them against her family, it might have had an impact on you. Right. If you had known things about her that you didn't know, I don't know, maybe you'd have taken the job anyway, maybe you wouldn't have. But I can tell you this, running to the courthouse every time you have a dispute can shock you, because you never know what those people are going to do either. Guys, we've got to stop. I thank everybody for being here today. More information on drphill.com. Thanks so much. Thank you. Good to meet y'all. Thanks so much, Bob. Good to meet you.
Dr. Phill, the story that made national headlines.
Their live-in nanny refuses to leave.
The media dubbed Diane the squatter nanny.
For the first time on television.
She said you just laid around and did nothing.
That's a bald-faced lie.
Mother and nanny face off.
You yelled at me and told me I was a dog.
Did you try to drive her out?
No, I didn't. I
mean, did you blast her with music? That either happened or it didn't.
A Dr. Phill exclusive.
Have you ever been evaluated? Do you have any mental issues?
You are a vicious, malicious person.
Plus,
My sister has sued my family approximately 10 times. She has done horrific things.
the nanny's family speaks out.
You tried your best to break me, and I am still standing. It's time for you to stop.
She was the nanny who was fired from her job but refused to move out of the house. You've seen the story. It made national headlines when the unthinkable happened to a family, and it has people all over the country talking. Now, Pretty Unlimited in New Jersey tweets, once people ask or tell you to go away from their home, you leave. You don't turn someone's home into your battlefield. Kitty Bradshaw in California tweets, good for the nanny for taking a stand. This will make people think twice before abusing their nannies and maid staff. People are divided. On the one side, we have a mother of 3 young children who says she wanted nothing more than to find the perfect nanny. And on the other side, a 64-year-old nanny who says she was made false promises and is now evicted. Well, for the first time, the 2 women face off on this stage, and we are going to get to the bottom of what happened. Take a look.
The local couple says their live-in nanny is no longer welcome but refuses to leave.
They say it's hard to hire good help. Well, guess what? It's even harder to fire bad help.
Marcella and Ralph Bracamonte hired the 64-year-old woman to help with their 3 children.
First couple of weeks with the nanny were good, and then they say she just stopped working. The couple took Stretton to court, but a judge ruled against them on a technicality and said they needed to file the legal papers again.
I'm now a victim in my own home, and it's completely legal.
Stretton was not talking at first, but she has since lashed out at the family.
When I was working there, I didn't get lunch breaks. I didn't get coffee breaks. Basically, I was working 24/7.
She wouldn't do anything. She stayed in her room 90% of the day, so I really did try to work with her.
She's moved out, at least for now.
We found nanny Diane Stretton late last night hiding out in her car.
We just want to hear your side of this story.
They have lied so much, and they have been so mean-spirited in harming me when I gave them way more. I gave them 4 to 5 times what they were entitled to, and then I get treated like this.
Well, the mom in the middle of this mess says all she was looking for was someone to love on her kids and be part of her family. So she posted an ad on Craigslist looking for a live-in nanny.
I
I hired a nanny to help my family, and it turned into us being victimized. My husband works quite a bit. I have 3 children. So I was trying to start a new business. It just became overwhelming. I went to Craigslist. I had 3 people respond to it, and I corresponded with Diane. She seemed the best out of the 3. I met Diane. I asked her for a driver's license and her social security number. I did a background check. I asked her to write down 3 references. All of them gave her rave reviews. When I decided I would hire her, I promised her room and board. Diane's performance at first was good. It all went downhill after 3 weeks.
According to Marcella, the nanny stopped working, stayed in her room, lounged on the couch, and just did nothing all day long. Finally, the family had enough, and that's when they say things turn scary.
Past 3 months with Diane have been an absolute nightmare.
She stopped doing everything altogether. So this is the room that Diane stayed in, and that's the chair that she sat in for over 8 hours a day. Once I asked her to leave, and she looked at me with that grin of, yeah, right kind of look. She said, if you want me to leave, you'll have to evict me. She slammed the door on me. It sent a cold chill down my spine. I got nervous because a woman that is now hateful towards me is sleeping right across from my child. She tried to go in my boys' room and scare them, try to torment them.
I learned that she ended up grabbing my son, throwing him to the ground, and he hurt himself. It just still makes me sick to my stomach.
Diane held us hostage in our home. I was scared and angry. This woman is a bully in every way, shape, and form. So this is the bike lock that we would put on our fridge because we were scared of Diane and what she could do. She might poison our food.
Some nights I wake up still a lot, 3, 4 in the morning, just listening for any sound.
She'll never stop. This room needs to get blessed as soon as possible. I don't think that Dr. Phill is going to be able to get anything out of her. Why? Because she's not right in the head. I think she's a danger to society. She literally is a homeland terrorist.
This is my home. This is where we're supposed to feel safe. And I had to sleep with one eye open.
Okay, so it's good to meet y'all. You posted an ad on Craigslist.
Yes.
And a lot of people would say not the best place to look for somebody that you're going to put in your home because you don't know much about those people. But did you check this woman out before you hired her?
I did do a background check. I have hired a prior nanny before off of Craigslist, and I had her for 2 years. And she was amazing, and we're still friends.
Well, here's the Craigslist ad that you put up looking for a nanny. It says, when I leave for a couple hours at a time, I need someone with my children. I need backup on keeping my house clean and getting the start on meals for family. I'm looking for someone long-term who preferably gets a retirement, who wants to be part of a family. There is no pay, just room and board. Mm-hmm. And how many responses did you get?
I got 3.
You got 3?
3.
And did you interview 3?
I did some phone interviews on the 2, and I decided not to go further on the 2, and then talked to Diane, and I wanted to meet her.
The deal is no pay, but room and board.
Right. And that was because I was going to be doing my work from home, and I was trying to start a business, and so I was going to be home a lot.
Things went along okay for a while. How long?
About a good 3 weeks.
Okay. And then what was your first sign that this isn't going to work?
Why I say she was good the first 3 weeks was because she was very hands-on with my middle child. They were awesome. But besides that, she didn't do anything as far as help me cook, help me clean. And I was just kind of letting it go because she was good with my kids. I didn't want to take someone away from my kids so soon. I was trying to talk to her, give her chances. And then when she got real comfortable with my 4-year-old, that's when I started to see the negative part of her come out. That's when I started to see she started getting very rough with him, as far as verbally rough with him. When I told her to stop, she completely withdrew herself and started staying in her room, and she might come out to wash a few dishes. After that, after a couple weeks after that, she stopped washing dishes altogether. Just a lot of things were changing, and I just had to step in and say something.
Okay, well, I think these are your expectations of her as a nanny, to keep the kids busy doing schoolwork, arts and crafts, reading, music, writing, playing in the yard or swimming, an hour of TV allowed, and then Bible study. Those were kind of the things that you valued.
That was the last list I gave her. There was another list, and I didn't keep it, I'm sorry. I had given her a list of duties as far as helping me cook, prepare meals, which was on the ad, the Craigslist ad. Help me prepare meals, help me clean. These were things to help to keep the kids busy. But she wasn't doing any of it.
So she wasn't doing what you listed in the ad, and we saw the ad earlier when you said help you get meals started. And
yeah, she was never there to help me prepare the meals, but she was there to eat all the meals.
Okay, so did you give her exact hours of what you expected as a nanny?
I didn't give her exact hours because the hours always changed. I felt this was a very casual agreement. I didn't think it was going to get litigious in any way.
It's not working out. And you asked her to move out.
Yes.
And what happened?
I asked Diane to sign a last chance letter, and that was giving her either shape up or 30 days. And she said she wouldn't sign it because it was illegal and slammed the door in my face. So then I went and I wrote, okay, well, you have 30 days to leave, and if you stay after 30 days, you'll have to pay rent. And she didn't want to sign that either. And I said, then you need to leave for insubordination. You're out now. You get out now. And she says, I don't need to leave. You can't make me leave. You'll have to evict me.
Here's the letter. You said, I have been very disappointed in your services. You act like you're a visitor in my home. You are not. You are hired help. Here are your duties. Out of your room by 8, Monday through Friday. Help care for all children, making lunch. Help with all duties, cleaning, cooking, trips with kids, and anything else mother asks. I will say it's time to clean the house. I want you to steam clean all floors, clean your room, and clean your bathroom. I will inspect. She didn't want to agree to that. Okay, so then you said, all right, I want you to leave. And she says no. So you went through a series of things to get her to leave. You mistakenly gave a 3-day notice to perform or quit.
Yes.
And the reason I say mistakenly is that wasn't what you intended, because that gives her a chance to improve, to perform, and you wanted to stop, not mediate at that point. Yes. So then you gave her a 3-day notice to quit.
Yes.
Okay. And then the police were called because she wouldn't leave and you wanted them to remove her from the premises.
Right.
Okay. Then you taped a 30-day notice to her door. It's okay, if I got to give notice, I'm going to...
No, it was not 30 days.
You did not tape a 30-day notice to her door and put it under her door?
No. Well, I did, but I told her this doesn't count anymore. The 3-day notice is now what it is.
So you did give her a 30-day notice?
That was the first one. And when I found out,
I'm just trying to make a list of what you did.
The 30 days was the 30. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of information.
I'm starting to get a little confused myself here. A little hard to track.
Yeah.
Here.
When I found out that I could actually do a 3-day notice to quit, that's when I said, well, scratch the 30 days. I want you out now. So I'm going to give the 3 days. And that's what happened.
Let's take a break. Mom Marcella and Nanny Diane have not talked face-to-face since the nanny was kicked to the curb. Well, Diane is here. We'll find out what she has to say when we come back.
Marcella had the Wi-Fi turned off, the cable turned off. She put a lock on the refrigerator, and she locked my bathroom and the laundry room. You do not ever cross Marcella. Nobody does.
And later...
You also yelled at me and told me I was a dog. Get back in my room.
I would never tell you to get back in your room. I'd say get out of my house.
As we learned more about Diane, we started to find all the things that she had done to other people. Stories of her childhood, how she used to torture her little sister, throw her in a cactus all the time. Stories about things that she's done to her children. We heard of her putting a knife to somebody and saying, you have to go to sleep sometime. It puts more fear in you.
For the first time since Nanny Diane was finally forced to move out of Ralph and Marcella's home, she is here. You might guess she tells a very different story. Diane says she was the one who was harassed and tortured during her employment.
It was very, very clear to me that you do not ever cross Marcella. Nobody does. A little more than 3 months after I started working there, Marcella gave me my last chance letter. When I didn't sign it, that's when everything blew up. She had the Wi-Fi turned off, the cable turned off. She put a lock on the refrigerator, and she locked my bathroom and the laundry room. And I come home one night, the house is dark, suddenly all the lights went on.
Why won't you leave?
The whole thing was extremely unpleasant and an extreme violation of my rights.
She wouldn't do anything.
Nanny nightmare
A
story.
habitual liar.
In the media, Marcella has said that the family was afraid of me, that I would poison them, that I might stab her in the middle of the night. She's afraid that I would burn the house down. I never did any behavior that anyone could construe as being threatening in any manner. First of all, they have a nanny cam. So if any of these things were true, why have they not released any footage showing this behavior? Marcella has a very vivid imagination. She just enjoyed the media attention so much, and her story began to get embellished. She's a con artist. Con artists have a way of switching things around. Her Facebook page had said that she wanted to ruin me. I'm just afraid that she's obsessed with somehow harming me. She's done everything but take a gun and shoot me in the head.
Diane, come on out. Diane, Dr. Phill, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Let's step right there. Help you up a little bit. What's your reaction or comment to anything that you've heard so far?
I just have a question why she could have notes and I wasn't able to bring any.
Well, first of all, she said that I was in my room 90% of the day, beginning at 3 weeks. Now, Marcella is an extremely impatient person. When I didn't sign the last chance letter, it wasn't 5 minutes before she was dialing the police officer to have me thrown out on the street. She would not have tolerated any kind of not doing my duties for 10, 12 weeks like she claims. And just a week before the last chance letter was the only other time that she spoke to me regarding my performance. And at that time she said my performance was satisfactory, but she wanted me to do more. She wanted me to do an A+.
You were asked to leave. You were fired. Why not just leave? Why did you stay after you knew they didn't want you there?
Well, because when I interviewed, Marcella was very concerned that when my children had children and I became a grandmother, that I would abandon her. So she wanted to have 30 days notice before I quit so that she could find another nanny. And I said, fine, then let's make that reciprocal.
But you didn't quit, you got fired. So that certainly relieves you.
No, I quit 2 days before I got fired. But we had agreed that there would be 30 days.
But I would think that when people are like going to court and calling the police and all, that one would kind of think they've waived the 30 days. Why did you stay?
I was trying to look for someplace else to live.
Did you use that 30 days for that purpose?
I began searching, but she turned off the internet 2 days later, so I went to public places. But then when things spun out of control, I hadn't located anything, and then I quit looking.
I'm curious if you did the things that she says you did, because she said at a certain point you wouldn't help with the meals, but you were always happy to eat them, that you wouldn't help clean, you wouldn't work around the house, that you just kind of laid around and did nothing.
That's a bald-faced lie. I did all dishes every single day, every single meal, the entire time I was there, until the 6th of June. And then she said she didn't want me near her or the children. She didn't want me to do anything, so at that point I stopped.
Some of the things that you said, I mean, they're not true.
What is not true that she said?
No breaks and stuff. That wasn't true. You know that wasn't true.
Yes, that was true. I was on call constantly. In fact, I gave the show some of Marcella's texts where I was expected to do things at early in the morning and late at night. Way more than an 8-hour shift.
But the thing was, you're trying to say it was a consistent 8 hours. It was never a consistent 8 hours.
Yes, it was. Any time that Marcella snapped her fingers, I was supposed to come running. And it didn't matter. Even when I was sick, I was vomiting and I had diarrhea. She didn't care if I got lightheaded and I dropped the baby. She just knew that she wanted to go out and party. So she came home, dropped the baby off at 1 o'clock, and it was my problem, whether I was ill or not.
I'm so sorry that you feel the way that way. I really do. I really feel like we made you part of our family. We cooked every meal for you. I served you coffee in the morning.
I made you a Mother's Day meal.
We ended up
inviting you to parties with us.
No, you made that for Marcella. I just happened to be
I made it for you as well. I told you Happy Mother's Day.
My kids told you Happy Mother's Day. If you had just done the bare minimum, you would still have a place over your head.
I did do way beyond the bare minimum.
And you threw a tantrum like a child when I asked you to shape up.
No,
and
I
you
didn't. I didn't
door
say
on my
anything.
Face.
I don't slam doors. And I don't scream.
When I asked you to clean your bathroom.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what was in the letter that Diane sent to Marcella that caused Marcella to feel like she was being extorted. Plus, what happened to the nanny after she was thrown out of Ralph and Marcella's house with no money and no place to go. We'll be right back.
I'm angry because I was constructively evicted from the Bracamontes' home. This shouldn't have happened. It's just wrong.
And later...
You tried your best to break me, and I'm here to stand here in front of you and say I am still standing.
Diane thinks that she's smarter than everybody. I can guarantee you she'll think she's smarter than Dr. Phill. She was living like a princess in my home, and the only one that reigns in my home is me. And I see that in the past she's ran over a lot of people, and they just took it. And I'm not going to let her run over anyone anymore.
Marcella was really moody. The first 2 weeks I was there, she went into great detail about how she had gotten revenge against every friend that she'd ever had, almost. At that point, I knew there might be a problem.
The media dubbed Diane the squatter nanny when she refused to move out of Marcella's house. Diane says, even though Marcella harassed her, removing the soap and toilet paper from her bathroom, she was still willing to take the abuse to avoid living on the streets.
Since I was constructively evicted from the Bracamontes' home, I've been homeless. This is my home. It's very cramped, and it's hard to carry everything with you. Living out of my car is very frustrating and very challenging. There's no bathroom for at least 8 hours at a stretch at night. You have to shower when there's some church that allows you to shower, and usually that's once or twice a week. I go to a lot of homeless feedings. On average, I get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and that's not restful sleep. Every night when I do this, it's like, I wonder how much longer I'm going to have to do this, because it's just wrong. I'm angry because this shouldn't have happened.
Okay, when you say this shouldn't have happened, what do you mean?
I mean the whole thing about being homeless. I've been a homeowner my whole life until my sisters evicted me from my own property.
Well, there was a letter that you